This will be what they have to see now.
I need to practice these faces.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm gonna do all of our. That's kind of hurts my eyes to do. I don't know that I'm capable of
I think we're live.
anymore. Are we
They can
live?
see us. Yes.
What's going on, internet?
They caught me trying to pause the thing
Really?
unsuccessfully. Yeah.
I don't see it still.
It says.
Are we live, internet?
No.
Tell me in the comments.
Y'all say
What's
things are
going
live.
on, internet?
Yep.
Oh, I got my eyes at the very least.
I'm seeing it on the
What's
YouTube,
going on?
like my back end.
I did not get to see. Alex is first place. I do want to give Chris Kaufman his rightful first loser or second place, and then Christy C is our third place winner as far as comments that are first. Alex was 17 minutes early, or as Tom Landry would say, on time. What is going on, internet? And welcome to OnlyCops. We are here on our Tuesday stream, which is kind of a mashup of.
Stuff.
We'll just say applying police perspective. We'll call it that. Or informed police perspective. How about that?
You're informed.
I want to thank Pam for the very generous donation.
I love everyone telling us we're live now.
Yeah.
I love you, chat.
She says love to all. I simply love to Pam because she's over here crushing it. Thank you for monetizing what often will. I think today's going to wrinkle some feathers. We have some interesting things on the docket today.
We're roasting some people.
We are indeed roasting some people. The greatest G, it is good to see you. John Actual, what's going on? I had a real cool conversation with John the other day. It is good to see him in the chat. Mom is in the chat. Who else is here? Bill is over here probably teasing people. Dix.
Answer the question.
Oh, okay. No, bro. Bill's being on good behavior. My dog. Sarah's here. Emu is here. Jeff Olson is here. Zeus, I will allow your presence despite my monotheism. Brian Miner. Sailor George is here. Shannon is here. The Dan Hammer is also here. She's already hitting next. Golly. I like our Patreon group.
Next cop.
Hardy is also here, and Andrew Sawyer is definitely, you were far from first, my friend. Anyways, this is our Tuesday stream where we go into typically police adjacent stuff as opposed to our Thursday body cam breakdown streams. There will be some roasting. There's going to be, we'll call this the police oversight board for the internet. That's what we're going to call today. We're going to hold, just going to hold some people accountable. We do it to Hollywood writers. We're going to do it to people that present themselves while in uniform. Because conduct unbecoming is a thing, and what you do is a reflection of the rest of us. Anyways,
And I
with
had
that
to
being
see what
said,
y'all do, so now you
exactly.
have to see what y'all do.
I want to
find
thank
these. It's awful.
I want to thank the 12,600 plus. We're about to hit 12.7 subscribers, or 7,000 subscribers, so I'm pretty excited about that. The channel has been growing a lot. A big reason why we've been able to very consistently stay on our stream schedule and on our film schedule is one, our Patreon group who are straight OGs. I will give you guys a kind of abbreviated after party, but we will have one. And then also our YouTube memberships. They are both as little as $1 a month, which gives you direct access to our Discord where all of the shenanigans happened. If you are currently initiated, you know what I mean. And there we share cool stuff like tips on things like fitness, gear. We just make fun of stuff. Sometimes there's a pretty heinous meme channel there. And then there's also like advice. We do, I've done like interviews, like mock interviews with people that are coming into law enforcement. We have watched some people completely disregard our advice about not becoming police officers, and I'm very proud to count them among my peers for the most part.
A lot of reverse psychology going on there.
Yeah. And then I want to also thank people like Keith who bring a wealth of experience that neither Bill nor I have. And they are part of it. He is here at the bottom of the stack today. The top is Bill. He was my partner in fighting crime. and in his deserved place. I am the meat between their buns, and the bottom bun being producer Juan.
I'm
Producer
bottom bun
Juan.
today.
He's bottom bun today. Or I guess I'd be lettuce and you'd be the meat. If we were
Yeah,
talking about a
that's
proper
probably more
hamburger
correct,
here. Yeah, I'll be the lettuce.
I'm ground beef.
No,
is the-
Josh, you're the cheese.
I'm the cheese.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, here, I'll go with cheese. We'll go with cheese.
Who eats
I'll
a
go to bacon.
hamburger? We
Yeah,
eat
maybe-
cheeseburgers.
Maybe a little bit of bacon.
Cheeseburger.
There.
Listen, did you guys see that
Quarter pounder with cheese.
old driving while license suspended guy? That was a clerical error, and he's
Bro.
out of jail.
Yeah.
Free my
That's
boy.
why. That's actually why. So, in honor of that, he is now one of our new
saw
emojis.
That's incredible.
Free my boy.
Free my
Didn't do
boy.
nothing.
He did nothing wrong. I do like that. Anyways,
got
we
new
will be
emojis 'cause
answering.
y'all are joining the membership. Love it.
We will answer any law enforcement related questions you have. I will try my best to keep up with the chat. Google by Dunker or Bunker? Bunker. That's a B, not a D. Come on, Josh. Google
Oh.
by. That's Bunker. Yeah. Yep. I keep my brains like D or B.
Google debunker?
Google
I think it's Google by, or is it
That's a
Google D?
D?
Oh, so it
It's
is Google D.
Google
Google D.
D?
Google
Yeah.
Debunker. That's a
Yes.
fun name.
Oh, yeah, Google.
Of all the emojis. Y'all are having too much fun with this. Anyways, we're going to get into this. We will go ahead and give you our law enforcement feedback on this. Bill, myself, and Dad at the very, very bottom of the stack, our server sheriff, were indeed former law enforcement. And then we actually have a pretty decent amount of former or law enforcement adjacent people from across the world in our chat in the form of moderators. If you see a little blue name with a little wrench, it's them or Shannon. Or I guess Pam.
Well,
I don't
Pam.
remember why. I think we just hooked up Pam so she could comment whatever she wanted. I think that's what it was.
We just
100%.
gave her immunity from moderation, essentially.
Sam, it's also good to see you. And I thought that said sus peeps.
We're very
What is?
sus
Hold on,
peeps.
hold on. Kool-Aid? I feel like I crushed that one.
Yeah, you know what? Probably.
Let's go. Okay. Anyways, we can get on.
Better than what I had expected you to say. Thank God.
Hey. I'm getting on it, dude. I'm
I
getting.
don't know what. I don't know what.
I'm
I
eating.
expected you to
I'm
say
eating
to
more
that.
protein in my diet. I feel like it's good for my brain. So if I could sleep
good for
some
your
more,
brain.
I'd probably be crushing it.
Yeah, you might cure your dyslexia if you actually
You never know.
slept.
You never know.
Yeah.
It's probably not helping. I'll be honest.
It's not.
Anyways, foggy brain or not, I've done harder things on less sleep. To be fair. But
I know.
taking care of myself and my post.
Doesn't mean you have to still though.
Very true. We're going to get on with our video here. So this is get out of any ticket when you're being pulled over by police.
Yes.
Before he says anything, running and getting away would be the ultimate way to do it. But that would require them not running your plate and knowing who you are.
Yeah, I
and
was gonna
having
say
a
that's just
If
gonna
you're
lead
in a
to a
stolen
warrant.
vehicle,
yeah.
it's someone else's. They don't know who you
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
and you can get away with
Then
it.
you get away. Then you'll get away.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's how you get away with it.
But let's see what his advice is on getting out of any ticket outside of not committing a criminal offense.
That's the easiest way.
That's the easiest way to do it. We cannot enforce a non-on-viewed misdemeanor. So
There's some cops that we're probably going to watch. They're going to say, "You just watch me" to that. But
Probably.
all right, so this is a channel called Law by Mike. Y'all have probably seen his shorts. He's pretty
boy.
popular on like Instagram and YouTube.
I do
and
like
TikTok.
I do like his suit, and I like his little book setup here.
Yeah, he's got a very like kinetic style to him.
Yeah, this is very nice.
So here we go.
Did
Also
you
like
get
that he's got
pulled
Lazy
over and you're
Liberty back there.
terrified you're going to get a ticket? Don't worry.
No.
Here are 5 tips to avoid a ticket when getting pulled over. Tip number 1, always keep your paperwork organized in a place you can easily grab it when asked by
Does
the
a ring
officer.
light
This will
around
make the
his
whole
steering wheel?
interaction smooth.
Yes, he does. Wow, good eye.
I also,
impressed.
Wow.
and I don't know that he didn't mention it, but he's currently driving at night, and this is the easiest way to avoid motorcycle police officers or what they call traffic enforcement, whose job it is to issue citations. So if it is a midnight's officer pulling you over, for a moving violation and you're not drunk, you're probably not getting a citation, to be honest, depending on the this is also like a weird behind the scenes. He unintentionally put himself at the perfect time of day to not receive a citation, unless it's something heinous.
This will make the whole interaction smoother. But don't go grabbing at it before they ask you, because they may assume you're reaching for a weapon. Give me your license and registration. Here you go,
Just
officer.
uniform.
Tip two, always be polite. Don't
That's
be
the Party City
antagonistic.
cop uniform.
Maybe even make some small talk. Who are you talking to? No one, officer. How's your
I
day
got
going?
that hat for our
My
props.
day? Yeah, how's it going? Better now. Great.
Where's my sheriff badge?
Let's cut back to the studio for tip number 3. Now that you've sweetened him up and he hasn't written you a ticket yet, you're gonna want to ask for a warning. But here's where things get tricky. There's no guarantee that you won't still get a ticket if you
Oh,
have.
that green screen, awful.
That's pretty
Homie,
bad.
That's so bad.
I do like that he at least went to the trouble, right? I don't know that I'd include asking for a warning.
No.
I
Because
don't.
if you ask me for a warning, you're probably going to get a ticket.
But I will say this: the being polite and having your paperwork ready, rock solid, like rock solid advice. I have no beef with that whatsoever.
Also, tell me when there's a gun in your car.
I'm 50-50 on that. It depends.
I want to know.
If it's in the car, and this is total officer preference, I will say this, but don't be coy about it. I think if you're gonna,
I'd rather
say
know
it,
so we can talk about what kind of gun it is.
to be fair, for depending on which type of cop is pulling you over, you telling them that might get you out of the ticket by itself.
Yeah.
You could, to be honest.
I feel like here, like in Texas,
Oh
if you're
yeah,
like, hey man, I got a gun in the car, just so you know.
yeah,
They're probably going to be like, oh, cool, thanks.
yeah.
I think part of the mandate with CCW carriers was if you were stopped by law enforcement, you were
You
required.
had to notify.
Yeah.
So, quick question on that, because I've seen another video, which I think it was a different lawyer who was saying that you shouldn't say the word gun, you should say I have a firearm in the car. It was like a
That's
It's
fair.
better.
tips for
I vote-
CCW holders, was I think what it was.
Very,
Yeah.
very wise. Very wise. A trigger. If the
It's a
beep,
trigger word.
yeah, if the beep for competition shooters is what tells your brain I'm in a shooting, the word gun being uttered will at least up your anxiety if you're a police officer.
Yeah.
Firearm or weapon.
Ask for warning.
Yeah.
So when you ask, use
have a
language
gunpowder
that
sword?
doesn't exactly admit to breaking any laws. That way, if you still
Agreed.
get a ticket, you'll have a solid case to fight in court.
God, that focus,
I'm sorry
dude.
if I caused you any trouble, officer. I promise if you let me off with a warning, I'll continue going the speed limit.
No.
Oh, shucks. Aren't you a
Nope.
little sweet talker?
Don't like that at
If
all.
you really
Oh, it's a
wanna
rat
sell it, you-
lawsuit. Let's go.
Hey, that's how that one cop got fired with the OnlyFans model.
That's true.
Gotta be careful.
And
Well, he was squeezing something else. Though.
I do like that he brought up not admitting fault. I think that's actually very intelligent. I think that we talk about the don't fucking talk to cops, but if you're going to,
I
quite
think that's a
especially,
better tip,
Yeah.
don't you? Like,
Yeah,
instead
don't
of
admit
asking
fault.
for a warning,
Yeah.
don't admit to shit.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know. Just that simple. You just don't. You have not allowed them to have a verbal utterance of you
Unless you
knowingly and
were,
intentionally
like-
violating the law.
Blatantly speeding,
Yeah, if you're doing like 120,
then I'd probably be like, I'm sorry.
yeah, you got me. There's a threshold for that.
Yeah.
Try to take hard things with a
It's
legitimate
assault.
excuse, like a family or medical emergency. But
No.
you do not want to admit
Like
to
your dog is
wrongdoing.
dying.
Do not do this. Sorry, officer, I was running late to work, and I also really have to pee. Ugh, you're getting 2 tickets now. Your brake lights are also out. But instead, try this. I'm sorry, would it make a difference if I was on the way to my son's school? I was told it was a health emergency. Would you consider
do that.
giving me a warning? But what
Don't
if
do
the
that.
cop isn't so nice?
No.
Sweet talk don't work so good on me, brother. So I'm gonna rip you a new one.
Mike, tip number 4. Sometimes you have an officer that's just having a bad day. So what do you do if your ticket seems inevitable? Well, we got 2 options before he writes the ticket. Option 1, keep a low profile. Ask the officer if you can pay your ticket by mail. This will make him think you are low probability to fight the ticket in court. Officer, is this type of ticket payable by mail? And if he thinks you aren't going to fight the ticket, he'll probably take fewer, less accurate notes. So when you do fight the ticket, you'll be much more prepared to lap circles around them.
Man, your notes were awful.
I didn't think he'd fight it. He kept such a low
Not
profile.
terrible advice,
Option
but
2.
it's not accurate.
Yeah.
'Cause
Because a
it's-
lie
I
goes
don't
on
understand.
them being bad at their job.
Why
Yeah.
are we asking so many questions?
Yeah, I
Like,
would
my
not.
traffic stops never went like this.
You would want it to be as brief as possible. no matter what, because you also kind of sticking yourself in a weird situation where, like, let's say this officer was just interested in the like enforcement action of it, and let's just say on Only Robbers Today that you happen to have extracurricular proclivities, right? Like you now that he's standing by your window, he now has time to potentially see something in plain view, or to potentially catch a whiff of a certain substance that you're not supposed to have in your car in certain states. And then they're gonna, what about your passenger? What about your back passenger? What, like, I don't
wonder why you're talking to me so much.
It's a weird, because it's also, and this is just coming from the law enforcement perspective. When you had very good, and I honestly admired to a certain degree the game, if you want to call it. When you had very good professional criminals, they knew how to build rapport, and they were very good at it. I mean, very, very good at it. So they knew they were carrying, or they knew that the prostitute they had in their backseat was underage or something wild like that. The first thing they would try to do is build rapport.
That escalated quickly.
I'm just saying, we've seen it in the streets, you know. But all they know is in their mind, they have gotten by in their life by building rapport. And so what you get used to dealing with, especially if you're like let's say we're on that Midnight's Cop, right? That's less likely to give you a citation anyways. But what those Midnight officers tend to do, because there's less drivers, it's almost purely interdiction. That means that I'm looking for crime. I'm looking for my drug dealers. I'm looking for stuff like that. Almost all of my stops were investigative in nature. There was a lot of safety ones I would do just because at night, driving is a lot more hazardous. Without safety equipment. Now your taillights matter a lot more, headlights matter a lot more, stuff like that. But
I mean, I would stop people and tell them that their taillights or brake lights were out and not even get their driver's license.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
a
hey,
lot of times,
just stopping you to let you know your taillight, your brake light's out.
Oh,
be like,
Officer Bill, how's your day?
I'm going to get.
Would it make a difference if my child is in the back seat dying? You look at the back seat.
Yeah. So I think you're opening yourself up to a longer investigation. You don't really need that.
I mean, this makes sense if the officer's like up there talking to you, but.
And I'm curious because somebody mentioned this guy's in California, so I wonder if, because we do see a lot of like where they like kind of fish for stuff, and if maybe you're used to cops that like to fish, it could work a little better. Yeah, because then you
I think if you're used to dealing with county police officers, they're almost taught to do that, like to fish. Like you should. Did you know how fast you were going? Like, did you like they don't do this?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Right.
But for us, it was like walk up, tell them who you are, tell them what you stopped them for. Get their stuff, and then go back to your car and either take enforcement action or don't.
Big Killa says, I keep donuts in my car when I get pulled over. I'm going to pin it. You deserve a pin. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't eat the donut just because I grew up at a time where people were poisoning cops, but I would respect the gesture. I'd be like, game respects game. Or just the serendipitous event that you happen to have donuts in your car.
I think it'd be hilarious.
You get a +5.
I'm not gonna eat it.
If it's pigs in my car and hand it to him.
Okay, Juan. You for sure give Juan the citation.
No, Juan's
If
going
you
to
tried
jail
to bribe
for
me.
bribery.
Those are valuable. Okay, Juan.
That's true. That's true.
Anyways,
You'd like a Patreon membership in exchange for not giving me a ticket?
Cops hate fighting traffic tickets in court. You may be able to get a warning or have the officer skip the hearing if he thinks he's in the fight of his life. Be a pain in the ass by asking a lot of questions.
So there's a real common one, which is like the cops will just skip a hearing. But from what I've heard from y'all is like y'all had like always had to show up for
Mandatory.
this.
you would get written
Mandatory.
up. You
There
would
was
get
no,
written up if you weren't there.
yeah, there was no skipping it. Like, it didn't matter your shift. It didn't matter day off. Like, even if you were on vacation and the county prosecutor or whatever couldn't get it moved, you had to go. There was didn't matter.
So you fight that ticket, I'll make sure it sticks. Like, your boy is researching his notes. Your boy is looking up the dash cam. Your boy is looking up the body cam. Like, oh no, dog. Like, and it's
Listen,
also why if I was going to take any
was-
enforcement action,
Yeah. If I was going to go through the trouble of writing you a ticket, it was going to have good notes.
I would even put it in the call text.
Yep. 100%.
What? No. Questions relevant to the citation. They don't have to answer, but you can always ask how the offense was detected and verified. Oh, officer, where were you positioned when you clocked me? Well, what device did you use to gauge my speed? What is the serial number on the device used to measure my speed? How long were you following me before you pulled me over?
Great
Did you
idea.
start
What's your badge
number?
That's why you don't stand up at the car.
What am I
and
being
have a
pulled over for
conversation.
exactly?
Never mind.
I wouldn't want to deal with me either. Now time for tip number 5. If you know you're innocent and still got a ticket, there's still...
Terrible advice. Okay, that's by far the worst. Don't. Your time to do that, because really, realistically, let's say that this officer was not on his due diligence, right? But you asked now, as opposed to asking in a courtroom. You might still get the citation issued, but you'll at least get it kicked at the court date. Yeah. Now, if you ask him ahead of time, you're just teaching him, if he doesn't already know, how to make sure that you're convicted of whatever offense that you had. Because now you're buying him a roadmap. Because you got to imagine, the burden of evidence on any of these citations is on the state. I have to prove that you were speeding. And so I have to have some reasonable evidence to give to the judge, or if you decide to go with a jury. I don't know why you would do it for a ticket, but if that's the case, I have to provide compelling evidence, right? If you're asking for the elements of the offense, what happens if he provides all these on body cam to you? Can you plead not guilty at that point? You're gonna verbally allow him to on body cam articulate I just wouldn't try that, especially if the guy's riding a motorcycle. I just would not try that. No. I would do it in court as opposed to now from a lawyer's perspective. If you happen to be a lawyer and a lawyer that specializes in getting rid of traffic citations, sure. But as the lay person, probably not.
Still hope. Check the ticket for inaccuracies. Have the officer correct small mistakes. But if there's a big mistake, such as the wrong road or completely inaccurate description
I wasn't
of your
speeding
car,
5 miles an hour. I
hold
was going
off
10
and
over.
use that to challenge the officer's credibility in court. Speaking of court, make sure you prepare your defense. Take vigilant notes on everything that happened while it's fresh. Go to the officer's original position to check for obstructions. Take pictures and make a diagram of the whole interaction.
Nice.
Make sure your pictures are in focus.
Read the ticket's fine print. There could be information on there about your violation, when your court date is, how to request
Officer, he couldn't have seen me. Look how blurry it was.
And even information about how to contest your charges. But enough about how to beat a traffic ticket in court. That could be a whole other video.
It is a whole other video.
Subscribe.
Oh man.
I give him a solid 3 out of 10. Oh no, 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Not 3 out of 10. No, 3 out of 5. I think the first couple were really good. I think the way he described how to poke holes in the argument for the citation were good. But the traffic stop is not the time to go and have that discussion.
I don't know.
Because if the cop's very squared away, he's going to be able to answer all those and you look like an idiot. If he's not squared away, you're likely going to bruise his ego. And what's he going to do?
Unless you're getting pulled over for something that you legitimately didn't do.
It had to be, yeah.
Ticket.
Yeah. Well, and then you got to think to yourself, what does the time cost you?
Right.
To go and take the picture and, draw the diagram and, ask for all this stuff.
I mean,
it's a time.
I don't know.
But keep all your stuff squared away and you should be fine.
Hard for me because I didn't write hardly any tickets.
I was talked to more than once about how often I did not issue citations. Yeah. I cannot say there are plenty of police officers that worked less than I did and wrote way more citations than I did.
But they also had way less arrests.
100%. Worked way less calls.
So.
Making sure I didn't miss anything in the chat.
No, not really.
Taken to court.
What do we got?
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and watch a very cringe TikTok video. We'll do Desperado over here.
Oh God,
this is awful. I'm gonna turn down the audio because of the copyright situation.
Is he Amish?
Desperado.
What's wrong with his beard? Where's the rest of it?
I don't know.
Nice pink cuffs.
Hey, you can mute it. You can mute it now.
I did mute it. I thought I muted it. Is it not muted?
There it is.
There you go.
So this is just him.
This is
ready
thirst trapping
or
for
what?
middle-aged moms. 100%. You can tell by these comments.
I'm not a fan of the basket weave or the pink cuffs, but I don't know that there's a single bathroom selfie of me not in uniform, not to mention in uniform. I don't know. I have a particular, maybe taking one for the missus I kind of get, but like taking one for the internet's a little weird.
For the
If it was like a fitness journey thing, like you get some guys that'll do it because they're looking at their gains or something like that. I could totally see that because that's got like a general function for accountability or whatever. But they're typically not lip singing a song at the same time. Look at my gains, or whatever it is. It's a weird. I don't know.
I'm just confused because like
it's a weird time.
this dude is average at best.
What?
Like, legitimately average
needs
at
the
best.
uniform to bump it up.
Like, but yeah, even the uniform, like, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
he's single.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like,
That's a
definitely.
weird deal. It's a weird deal. I don't see the benefit. There's a big reason why a lot of departments don't allow it. One, it's
Okay.
kind of cringy, but two,
Let's
it's
see.
it's a little weird.
This is
Don't
one-
rock that basket weave. No, I have big beef with basket weave.
Yeah,
all right,
looks
so this
dumb.
one's from our Discord. This is a vintage training video from Indiana State Police, 1988. We're doing a full-on mix today.
Hey,
All kinds of stuff.
Keith was Dad was a cop at this time. Yeah.
Yeah, Keith, when did you start being a cop? Wasn't it like 80 something?
9.
89?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, so this
you
would have
got
been
caught the
this
tail
would have
end of
been a
this.
high speed low drag right here. This would have been the bee's knees. He was in a more respectable place than Indiana, but
Definitely. Of course, I started for a revolver.
oh boy. Raggy.
I don't know.
Just a few precious seconds can
Criminal
make the
POV.
difference.
I like
The
how they
speed
filmed
loader
this
gives you
on
those
like a
seconds.
real street.
Yeah.
During the course of this program, you'll become familiar with techniques
Remember the
enabling
rules of
you
public safety
to
at the
reload
time.
your revolver in 5 seconds or less.
Hell yeah.
Let's begin with how to load the Safariland speed loader with
I do that.
ammunition. Hold the speed loader with the chambers facing up and the knob side down. Drop the rounds in, casing down, projectile up.
Bro, 357 probably spear gold dot. Oh,
Now push the knob straight up
What a
as far as
scary
it will
bullet.
go, then turn it clockwise until it clicks into place.
Lock.
Your speed loader is now ready. The speed loader should always be carried in its pouch, which is usually worn on your weak side just next
That
to the
is
gun belt
shiny
buckle.
leather gear.
The loader rests in the pouch like this, with the bullets
Fair
3
enough,
front
finish.
and 3 back.
you
Either
rock
hand
these,
can be
Keith?
used to draw.
I didn't do the ones where they like split them over the belt. My speed loaders were like it was like the little
Like a
half drum.
pouch?
It was like a little pouch, and it was like a little drum where you just dropped it in there and snapped it down. But yeah, the splitting your rounds over your belt is very strange.
I'll stick to my modern handgun.
If you accomplished a reload in 5 seconds with a modern pistol, you're doing push-ups or something. I don't know, dude. Like I could probably do a burpee or two. Like
All the
clear a
speed-
malfunction and fix it in that amount of time.
You're like, let's see how many push-ups I can do while you reload your gun.
Seriously. Yeah.
loader from its pouch, but you'll need to master the right-handed draw. Notice the flap of the pouch is tapered at the top. This allows you to reach inside the pouch with your thumb and forefinger and grab the speed loader. Then unbuckle the front snap with your middle finger and remove the loader from the pouch. Here's the same technique from a different angle.
Look at that technique.
Nice. That's a very
Drawing the
dexterous
loader with the
maneuver.
left hand
His wife is
uses the
happy.
same principles, and you should know how to do it. Loading the revolver quickly and smoothly requires some practice. Here are the different steps broken down. First, push forward on the cylinder release with your right thumb to open the cylinder and shift the
I learned how
revolver
to
to
do
your
this
left
when I
hand
took
with
firearm instruction class. I became a certified firearms instructor, and they made us learn how to do this. It was kind of awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have to do it for
Because some people are going to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had like semi-autos, you had these, and then you had like the old school revolvers where like the cylinder doesn't come out.
Yeah.
And there's like a technique for that. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, I would be this guy.
the two left middle fingers reaching through the frame from the side plate side. Now eject any empty casings with the left thumb and at the same time draw the speed loader from its pouch with the right hand. Holding the cylinder with your thumb so it can't rotate and making sure that the muzzle's pointing down, align the bullets with the holes and push straight in. Do not twist. The bullets will release automatically. Now drop the loader. Let's take another look. Release the cylinder. Hold the revolver in the left hand. Eject any casings while drawing the speed loader. Align bullets with holes. Push straight in. A situation may arise where you'll be forced to reload your revolver with just one hand. The technique is basically the same with variations. Let's say your right hand is injured and your revolver has fallen to the ground. Here's what you do.
I don't know why they're
Open the cylinder by pressing the revolver.
The what?
Who had a better one?
HKS had a better speed loader. The line was quicker.
Coming in with the OG information.
Against your leg or body and pushing the release. Eject the casings. Now slip the barrel end into your right hand. Draw the speed loader with your left hand as we showed earlier.
Well,
Push the bullets into their slots. And you're ready. If you're in a standing position, open the cylinder as before, but use your belt to hold the barrel of the revolver.
Oh, there you go.
Draw
appendix
the loader.
Carry before appendix carry. Yeah.
Reload. And you're ready.
Back to it.
A third possibility would be if you are on your back. The reloading techniques are the same as if you were standing up, but you'll need to be careful to keep the barrel level.
Only to make that
You may need to manually push some bullets the rest of the way in with your fingers.
And that's how you keep the cylinder out. It's actually kind of smart. It's
To
kind of
release the ammunition from the loader, press firmly on the star-shaped release mechanism in the center between the bullets and dump them out. Check the loader periodically for cracks, particularly if it's been dropped on a hard surface. If it's been dropped with ammunition in it, check the ammo and casings for damage from the loader's locking mechanism. Always keep your speed loader clean, checking for foreign materials around the release or brass-colored locking mechanisms at the bottom in particular. No oiling or other lubrication is necessary. Let's take one more look at the proper operations of the speed loader.
That's not. I want to see
Loading the speed loader.
Full speed.
With practice, you'll be able to reload in less than
not with
5
cuts,
seconds,
bro. Come on.
giving you the few moments you may need, which may make the difference.
I'd save somebody's life. Probably more than one person's life. Bro, how wild.
I wanted to see it full speed without them like.
Yeah, your average reload now is probably somewhere in the like the 3 to 2 second range. Probably 4 seconds is typically allotted for something like a qualification, but 4 seconds is like the floor.
Yeah.
If it's taking longer than that, you're taking way too long.
Yeah.
That's typically like there's some sort of malfunction that you're trying to clear or something like that. But like
Honestly, you should be clearing malfunctions in less than 4 seconds.
that's what I was getting at. Yeah, like that's kind of where the if there's some sort of administrative thing that has to happen that's not pewing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
so like
interesting.
that was different. That's just, technology has changed for sure.
Definitely not surprised that was in our Discord.
Yeah, the best thing about having guys with revolvers on the qual line, if you stand with them, you don't have to worry about hot brass going down your collar or get stuck to your vest or.
That is true.
So usually if I saw a guy with a revolver, I always took the lane right next to him.
I'm gonna stand next to an old timer. You know, at least I don't get brass.
Yep.
I will say this: John Actual does bring up a point. There are some freaks. Jerry, the I guess the world record holder. It's Michalik. Nobody knows how to say his last name, but he shoots a revolver like a fiend. He can shoot a revolver better than I could probably shoot an AR, to be honest. That guy's a freak of nature.
All right, this is coolest trooper ever.
Police officer was ordering
It's from our
lunch.
Discord.
Another officer couldn't help but wonder.
What did you order? Number 10. Big Mac. Mexican fries. Yum, yum, yum.
While this
Yum,
police
yum, yum.
officer was
Yum, yum,
ordering
yum.
lunch,
That was Nolan trying to like speak on the radio, but it was his PA mic.
He's trying to talk to dispatch. I would not consider this conduct unbecoming. I think they're having fun.
Yeah.
I have no beef with this one.
Oh.
I like it.
I'm here for it. That was good old you're bored at work kind of fun.
Yeah. Like, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah. No kidding, right? Oh, and I think also like it demonstrates the more human side of police officers without them having to do like cringy dances or
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, you want cringy dances? Okay, we can go back to that.
Oh,
No.
And saw a police car nearby. He decided to use some donuts to fish for cops. But he never expected one officer to react like this.
That powder, I'm allergic to chocolate.
When this man saw a police car nearby.
He said it's in powdered. I'm allergic. One, being allergic to chocolate's a sad existence. God bless the man. But you feel real safe to be throwing a rotten reel at a local PD guy.
somehow I have a feeling that this was discussed since they're in a
He
Home
never
Depot
expect-
parking lot.
Probably. That would
Yeah.
make sense.
Now,
That
if
would
it
make
were
sense.
me, I would have like
Get it in the window, Doug.
jumped the car forward to try and get it and let him
Yeah.
reel it in real quick to make a
gotta do
really
it
good
properly.
video.
Yeah, I was expecting the car to very slowly like inch forward and have to like reel it back.
Yeah,
That'd be
that would have
fun.
been funny.
All right. Maybe we'll come back to
Back
this.
to these.
Subscribe for a donut.
Yeah. Oh, this one's for John Actual. So this was pretty freaking wild. We're only gonna watch about half of this because then after that they just kind of stand around. But this is a ridiculous police chase in Miami.
Shout out to Florida. The Scooper.
And I guess
He's already getting after it. I'm surprised the dash cam hasn't kicked on yet. Like the audio.
I think it kicks in at some point.
But that, like, he's got to be already going code, is what I'm getting at.
Well, what it used to be, yeah, about 36. Damn, he's moving.
He's got a lot of faith in these shoulders.
He's got a lot of faith in those drivers.
That too.
There's some fleet services guy that's like cringing watching this.
Oh, sweet.
Our guy's driving a patrol car like patrol cars get driven.
Is he trying to catch up to the pursuit, or
TRB chill.
She's on the right shoulder now, heavy traffic. Approaching, getting to 58th Street.
I'm behind it, 1560 behind it, southbound 826.
okay?
Good job. That's incredible orientation to know. And to get on it like that.
Shout out to infrastructure.
95 miles an hour.
Hey man, they're just cleaning the shoulder. That's all.
Yeah, that's all.
Guarantee you those tires are flat later.
Yeah, I'll take the radio. We're southbound now, approaching 58th Street.
Should add those little street super brushes to the front tires.
Southbound now, on the road, getting to 36th Street.
Oh, that merging.
Traffic light,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, it's moving.
I'd say
light,
like
weather's clear.
I'd say like medium traffic. Weather's definitely clear.
Road conditions are fair.
Yeah, dry, nice.
The road, but
Barely on the road.
Mario Andretti.
Southbound approaching 36. Southbound approaching 36.
I mean, I'm fairly impressed with the suspect at this point.
What the hell that was just flying?
It was one of those little.
Then he dings another patrol car.
Well, that was a terrible place to sit.
Yeah.
Your patrol car, especially when you're telling people. I guarantee you they're on the radio saying this guy's driving all over the shoulder. So to just park your car on the shoulder is kind of idiotic.
All that garbage.
Did he just hit the shoulder again? Or the wall?
Yep. It's like bouncing between cars on the wall.
Multiple signal 4, multiple signal 4. She's trapped inside the car.
Oh, he's getting after it. The game respects game here.
So I thought that SUV was gonna like pin him and be a hero, but no, they just wanted to get out of there.
Hey, you gotta be in it to win it, dog.
Truck driver running out. Hey Keith, what would you rate that truck driver on safety?
Okay, so this way.
My dude holding his radio. Oh no, there's no way he jumped.
So this is a lady, actually.
Just walk to the shore.
Everybody jump in.
There's no way I jump into that. Hell no. That in Florida? A swamp puppy would come get you.
This women, that's not what.
Good luck!
She's on the water on the right side. On the right side of the ramp.
One person needs to just watch and give direction. There's the helicopter. Rip.
The cop that was in this patrol car that we're looking at should just stay and watch because his
what I'm
car
saying.
probably ain't going anywhere.
So this is him.
No, this is the other guy.
Oh, is it?
This is the second. This
He
guy's
didn't have an outer vest on.
What are you peeking under there for?
He don't know.
guy.
This dude wearing pit
What's on?
vipers?
Is that the truck driver?
Yeah.
My boy is recording it. My boy's like, whatever.
He's like, this wasn't my fault.
This was the original driver.
Yeah. Here's,
Oh,
here's little buddy.
Yeah, kill your siren, dog.
There we go. Lena Logan, 27, of North Carolina, faces several charges, including grand theft, aggravated fleeing and eluding, resisting an officer without violence, and leaving the scene of a crash involving injury.
Good job.
Yep. I think eventually they do catch her.
Too bad an alligator didn't catch her.
Bro.
I love that Dr. Mike is on your
Oh yeah, I've been like
side
binging.
over there.
I've been binging.
That was swamp puppy
I
spicy.
got my little dumbbells over here on the floor now.
Hey,
The Minnesota
And my
man is
broken-ass
here.
treadmill back here.
good
Henry,
people to listen to that channel.
If you want to get fit for your fitness tests or whatever else.
You can ask me, and then you can go watch
Yes.
Renaissance Periodization.
You can get Bill to coach you.
And I'll be
and
honest,
get
like,
hyped by watching that channel.
if
That's right.
As free advice, and I'm sure Bill will back me up on this, the physical assessment for almost any department, the troopers are probably the only one I can think of off the top of my head that was actually pretty hard.
Yeah.
Like, that's the bare minimum. It's not the standard, it's the bare minimum of the things that I need you to do to be able to get the job.
You should want to go in and dominate that test like
Yes.
they've never seen before.
Yeah. Or at the very minimum, like,
Not that that means you're going to be
Easily.
a great cop.
yeah. I'm just saying that,
But-
that it.
You should show up the fittest guy there.
Yeah.
Or girl.
Yeah. That should be the goal.
Because they will notice.
Yeah.
100%.
I think this is Mountie training.
Mountie training.
Their life as a civilian is over. Your first name
Like the
from now
RCMP?
on is Cadet.
Yes.
My first name, and you can pick one of two. It's either Sir or Sergeant Major. Your hours of work are from the time your feet will hit the floor in the morning until the time your ass hits the bed at night. You will be tested at every turn. Trust me, you will. I want to see what you're made of. Will you make mistakes? Damn right you will. Will I correct them? Damn right I will. What I want to see from you is how you react to those things. Can you remain focused on your job? Can you remain professional regardless of the pressures that are put on you?
Like how they have old school Smith and
There are
Wesson here.
standards here.
Yeah.
Don't rely on the standard to try to meet it. Exceed it.
You literally said it. Oh boy.
Every time.
Yeah.
Any questions? No, sir. Corporal, they're all yours.
I do think it's a little self-serious, but the job's kind of serious. So I'd rather this than the alternative, which is where you're very soft on them and you end up with bad cops. Or at least people that probably aren't as fit. And I don't mean fit just in the fitness standpoint, but also like mental fitness.
Yeah.
If you have a hard time listening to someone that is trying to prepare you for a complicated job yelling at you, you're going to have a hard time when suspects yell at you. And in the same way, I hate lectures and I hate all that kind of stuff. That's poor emotional fitness, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I just think you're going to work from the time your feet hit the floor till the time your
That's a
ass
little
hits
much.
your bed.
A little much.
Okay. All right.
It's very military
man.
coded.
Guess what? This
Dan
is
has a
still
question.
just a 40-hour-a-week job.
Dan, what's your question? I don't know that I would want. I would be honest. Oh, I guess for cashiers, I could see a body cam being useful. But as a civilian, I would not want a body camera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
For
could
cashiers.
see in very specific customer service oriented jobs where
Yeah.
maybe not necessarily a body cam, but like at the very minimum, you want to have some sort of security camera around you for
Yeah.
whatever incidents.
I like dash cams. I love dash cams because there's a lot of civil liability when you're driving. But like in my personal life,
I
maybe
guess-
if I was going on a run or something like that, if I was gonna be in a public place. But
But like, what's the advantage to a cashier having a body camera?
Yeah, so I don't think a body camera. I think like
I would
documenting
look-
the full interaction for if there's shoplifting, if there's some kind of assault that happens, if there's.
Because I'm
some
trying
kind
to think of like
robbery.
what store you see now that doesn't have at least cameras at the registers.
yeah, it's true.
And like all these self-checkout things have a camera on the self-checkout. Like
Yeah.
Costco had a camera for every 2 registers, like its own camera that could like zoom in, like you could see everything you needed to see.
Dan wants to know how often that guy combs his stash, and it's probably hourly.
He for
Probably
sure
waxes it.
twists it with his
At
fingers.
least gives
He's
it
got
one of
wax
these.
that goes
you know?
every
does this.
every probably 15 minutes he's adjusting it.
Honestly, I'm not
Because I did that with my mustache once, and I had to do it a lot,
all the time.
all the time.
Mine could.
And
get
the
big.
wax got. No, you could definitely.
like a week.
Yeah, you
'cause I
probably.
just trimmed it last week, so maybe
I don't
like a
think-
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say
don't
you
think
probably
mine
give
would-
it a week and a little bit of wax because you don't need a ton of hair. with the
Yeah,
wax.
no, it just needs to be like out enough that it
There it
can
is.
twist. Yeah.
There it
There
is.
you go. There you go.
Sorry, I have too much beard
Let's
to
start
see.
twisting it.
Yeah, you got the downside
My
of like
mustache.
the beard makes it just blends with the mustache, and then it's harder.
I'd have to trim my beard down to see my mustache.
I want to see what all that training gets them.
still don't fully
He gets him
understand.
a Ford Taurus. Yikes.
Oh, and a lighter.
I was far from an explosion.
Is this CSI? Is this what we're doing?
Yes, I can.
Is this RMCSI?
Yes, RCMP CSI.
Did they have a rainbow on their patrol car?
Probably.
Probably.
Oh, they got police.
Shannon, I have a ring.
Armored boat.
See? Ring light.
She meant
There
one
it
on
is.
your finger for your wedding ring, so everybody can see it.
It's right there.
Just like that guy had it for a steering wheel, you need one that goes around the ring.
I do want a bigger ring light, but
Yeah.
not for my
Mine
steering
is
wheel.
gigantic. It's like, it's honestly like the dude with the steering wheel.
Did you buy the Loom? The Loom one?
No, I bought mine. Is I think it's a Godox.
Oh, they have ring lights?
Yeah.
RCMP's
I'll send you a
a,
link.
Okay.
It's great.
RCMP's a weird organization, I think.
I don't know enough about them, to be honest.
Yeah, it just externally speaking is all I'm saying is like having at least now been around law enforcement.
Are they like this?
I believe they're like
are they,
state police or like, but it's like state for
But
the. Like
is it
they're
all
federal.
of Canada?
I think it's federal, but they're
Yeah, I
still
was gonna say
broken
they're
up
like,
into subsets.
Federal? Or
Canadians, correct us.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Canadians
Emu,
connect-
what are they considered?
Yeah, the alphabet cops.
Federal.
Because Shannon, that's just my beard.
Oh, they
It's
had
not,
force.
it's not a color grade.
That's literally just my beard. I just have a big ass beard. That's all it is.
Why is
What are you
there
talking about over
shadow?
here?
He's just got a black beard on a black shirt.
Yeah, I mean,
It looks.
So
his neck is there
beard.
somewhere.
I will say this: I think RCMP.
Federal. Yeah,
So them being federal, when
because
people talk-
Canada just has the what are they called? No,
Just they do
not provinces.
federal, province,
are they called?
provincial, and municipal. They do.
They
have
are provinces?
Yeah, they have provinces and municipal, so they can do like all three. And
So-
it's like as well as counterterrorism, according to this.
technically, so Emu's saying that a lot of cities are turning to private police forces now. Technically,
Really?
a municipal police department is paid for and trained by and approved by the city. And the city has certain standards that state in which it resides, and there's a couple of federal restrictions for it, or like requirements. But like, the only downside to private
police forces
is gonna be budget. So like, if I want you to catch a bad guy, well, it's easy when you're RCMP and you got federal money, right? Because they're used to paying for militaries. When you're just having to pay for policing stuff, sure, what's a helicopter to you? You know, what's training time and whatever, and getting a big garage to work on all the cars and all that. Like it gets complicated when you're trying to fund it privately, unless you have a very rich base of people that are willing to pay for it.
So,
It's the only downside.
would your taxes pay for that?
It's kind of what I mean is like, I don't know how you go, unless the city's stipending off money for a private organization. I could see like individual areas maybe paying for private
like neighborhoods.
security.
Your HOA
Yeah,
pays
'cause
for it.
Yep,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But the only downside is you're giving them, if they're truly police officers, I mean, you're giving them the right to investigate. You're giving them the right to.
So I guess they're more like. Are they more like? Would RMCP be more like the FBI?
No arms. No, that they're a lot more like.
I don't know if there is an equivalent.
I don't think there is. They're a blend.
State
Yeah.
police or
So
national.
this is the thing about kind of the international police forces that I was finding when I was pulling the videos from last week, is like there's not really an American equivalent, because we don't really like having federalized policing systems at all. And so having something that is essentially enforcing local laws but is a federal agency is not a thing we have.
Yeah, that's what I was
Thank
getting
God.
at.
Yeah.
Well,
So
and
it's-
we our values and our cultural norms and even our state laws are so incredibly different from one state to another It's ironic that in Colorado, right, the same plant that a cop would be like, "Oh, what flavor did you get?" In Texas would get you pulled out of your car, and vice versa.
Unless you work for the DEA, and then it's
true.
all still illegal.
Let's be honest. Yeah. And
So
same thing.
dumb.
Same thing with the way that you look at firearms here in America. The same way you would look at like even some simple stuff. So you got to look at like engine noise, for instance. Like in California, they treat it like it's an act of terrorism that you have an aftermarket exhaust. In other states, you'll be like, "Oh, dude, that's cool. It made a big old plume cloud." Like it's a very weird like. I think we're too diverse of a country for that to even work, because and we also have really enormous tax bases that can afford it here.
Gigantic.
Dan said only state agencies for him.
That's wild.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, in Australia though, like all of your population is like on the coasts, and there's
On the
like,
coast,
just
yeah.
emptiness in the middle. It's unlivable.
Yeah.
And honestly, very similar for Canada. I think it's something like 90% of the population lives within like 50 miles of the U.S. border. Like it's
Well, yeah, because
something
who would
dumb
want to
like that.
live in the fucking Arctic?
Yeah.
There's huge chunks of that it would just logistically it would just be hard to live out there.
Mm-hmm. But in like the
But
U.S.,
yeah,
huge
all
and
over the
spread
place.
out, and it's everybody's
Yeah.
everywhere, and there's just like there's cities and there's a bunch of rural areas, and it's gigantic. And I don't think
Yeah.
internationally a lot of people don't realize how freaking big.
I
the
think
US is.
even like
that's true.
Even from like a policy standpoint, it wouldn't make sense to enforce even simple stuff like building code has to be different from one state to another because their
In
weather's very
Texas,
different.
It has to be different from city to city because our building code here and what needs to happen in Houston are completely different. Like we don't get
Yep.
the
Yeah.
hurricanes.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
Or their humidity. There's weird stuff. It's just a weird. Yeah. America's too diverse in both scope and size and topography and geography, all that shit. Yeah, we're too diverse to this to even make sense.
Yep.
Let's watch a
What is this?
1973 felony vehicle stop.
Blow it up.
Let's learn how to do this. How are we gonna stop one of these?
This
sexy
music
cars?
is intense.
It's the start of a Disney movie.
What was that? It looks like a Challenger.
To hold the camera still back in the day.
I was robbing a bank or what?
They look like they're robbing a
Turn this music down.
They're looking around way too much for regular people. At least the
What we
lead
call
guy.
a clue.
Why is he wearing a helmet inside of his car? Oh, you know what? This is
No
pre-airbags.
Yeah.
To defeat these increasing odds, it is
Actually,
up
this
to the
actually makes some
individual
sense.
officer
It'd be
and
hot,
his
though.
department to
Yeah, for when he
prepare.
goes flying out of his
Prepare
windshield.
literally for survival.
1 Adam, silent alarm, Bank of A Levy, 5th and A Adam.
Wait, were there dispatchers police back then?
Backup 1 Adam.
I think in some places they still are.
Oh, like they're sworn?
Yeah.
The approach is critical.
I could see
training and
like
experience
small
will
counties
go.
doing that.
It makes some sense too because you understand the needs of the officer a little bit better if you've actually done the job.
God, look at that car. I want one.
Oh, smoked instantly. Oh, he's
Oh,
gone.
he dodged it. Oh,
I was like, no, I don't think he dodged that one.
I mean, he had plenty of time to dodge it with how long they just stood there, but
Well, I saw him like sidestep, so I thought they were gonna say it just missed him.
This officer is
Oh man, his helmet fell off.
Very
he forgot his
simply,
speed
he
loader. That's why he
wasn't
couldn't shoot
prepared.
back.
Let's take it back to when the officer received the call and see what he could have done.
What good is that
to
helmet gonna
survive.
do if the chin strap's not even
That's true.
hooked?
Just try to be comfy, right?
Well, somebody could choke you with that chin strap, Bill. So
Fair. Oh look, they still have the same
The
Motorola
same
mic
Motorola
that they used
handpiece.
today. That's not the PA. Oh yikes. Oh, it is strapped.
Units 2 Adam and 3 Adam backup.
It's plain language. We would ask.
Approaching from the east on
Or is it not strapped? Maybe that's just a shadow.
I think the other guy maybe, but this guy no.
approximately 3 minutes.
I think it's just a shadow on the other
The
guy.
officer does not rush in blindly. He takes a position where he can observe the scene in
He's
relative
staging?
safety. From this vantage point, he
Good
can
for him.
analyze the situation and determine the best apprehension procedure. He observes a possible lookout standing near the door and a possible getaway car with a driver, plus he notes the number of pedestrians, which makes
And he
an
arrests the
immediate
black family.
confrontation
Because
most
this is
hazardous.
1973.
The officer knows he must make a cautious approach. A gunfight on the street is out of the question.
Just shoot him in the back.
The officer immediately notifies
Easy.
the
Body cam, dude.
locations of his exact
Well,
location,
they were
description
being
of suspects,
dummies walking
their
out
vehicle,
backwards.
and what direction they are headed. The officer makes a wise decision. He allows the suspects
Back
to
when
leave
cars
the
were
bank.
cool.
The safety of the
I
people
like how
is
none of
his
those
prime
bystanders
concern
saw
at
the
this
guys
point.
with the shotgun. They're obviously
All
walking out of the
units have
bank.
been notified by the dispatcher, and the officer follows the suspects. He keeps a safe and discreet distance while reporting
wild.
speed and direction.
A safe and discreet distance, yeah. Okay.
He has a difficult decision
Because you
to
can't
make.
see that patrol car
Where
from
does he make
miles
the
away.
stop? He must take into consideration a list of factors such as time of day,
Of course not, he's hiding
location of
behind that
backup
Corvette.
units, geographical area, population density, lighting, traffic,
Probably the
and
smallest car on the
having to go in
road.
pursuit. He cannot
Especially in the
wait too
70s.
long.
He's tiptoeing.
The backup
I tell you what,
units
they're
are in
giving
constant
great
touch with
advice on
communications.
felony
Once they've
stops, though.
received instructions from 1A, they
You know who the other
proceed to
cop
close
reminds
in.
me of?
The officer must be prepared in advance for immediate action prior to the stop. He releases
PA?
his shotgun, places a public address mic on the floorboard,
does.
and
It's a
has the
shotgun.
radio mic on the seat. The location for the stop has been selected by
Why
1A
does he
and
do that?
communications notified. He uses the
Why does he place them?
prior to the stop.
No
He
fucking clue.
releases
I
his
never did
shotgun,
that.
places
Keith,
the
does
public
they ever
address
teach
mic
that?
on the
See
floorboard.
the clipboard that's there for his bolos. Back then they were drawn by hand.
Does he
They
have
didn't
to?
humans.
Does he have to move the mics to get his shotgun out?
So why would you put the PA on the floor and then the like the key up mic on the seat?
So you don't confuse them?
This is 15 years before I started.
Because like, so you're gonna do a felony stop, right? So you're gonna stop and you're gonna use your PA to direct them out of the car.
Yeah.
So if you're stressed and you don't want to confuse them, you grab the one that's on the floor.
Maybe.
Yes,
see
yeah.
that.
That's my guess, yeah. I do like that he pre-did backup, and I do like that they were talking about like how do you want to approach it. Like I know this is a felony stop. Like I know this is going to be a high risk stop. Think about where I'm doing it. Think about what my backstop's going to be. That's actually what you would be thinking about.
Sheriff Big said, meanwhile, everyone in that bank is dead and he's tailing this guy.
Accurate. Accurate. Let's be
Radio
honest.
mic on the seat. The location for the stop has been selected by 1A and communications notified. He uses the red lights and siren at the right time. In close, it surprises and gives the officer a psychological edge.
I don't know
Unable
about
to
that.
react, the
We got number
suspect
3-1 with two armed
note
dudes.
the position.
You're also
and
not
angle of
Classic
the
traffic
vehicle.
stop.
Look at that, yeah.
We also
The
know they're
officer
willing
is
to
in
kill him.
position. He takes total command
Whoa.
of the
That's
situation's
why.
vehicle. Once
He
the
got
officer
his
is in
shotgun,
position,
and then
he takes
it
total
becomes
command of the
a
situation.
pistol.
His
Also, where's his
physical advantage
revolver?
Is his placement behind the door with the engine block between him
He's
and
got a
the suspect's
1911.
vehicle.
That's kind of hot.
From this vantage position, he
So
can take
putting it on the
offensive
floor
action
makes
if
sense now.
necessary, yet is as protected as possible. He commands them to place their
Great,
hands,
actually.
palms up, on the dash.
They're compliant.
I'll put that.
Suspects
Touch
in
the
rear,
ceiling.
Hands on the back of the front seat. Driver
he's reaching,
very
shoot him.
slowly turns off the engine and drops the keys out the window. The officer should not
at that
attempt
speed,
the
then
arrest
he's gonna
alone. As the backup units
him.
arrive, they will work as a well-trained team,
yeah.
with a second officer automatically covering the arresting officer.
Oh boy. Look at those,
When the
those
backup
slug
officer
sights.
is in
Those
position,
rifle
the
sights on it.
suspects are ordered from their vehicle by the arresting officer. All suspects should be ordered to exit from the same side of the vehicle, allowing for the best observation and minimize escape opportunities.
I guess
The
that would work
arresting
back
officer
then because of
instructs
bench
the suspects
seats.
out in this
Yeah.
specific order. First, the man in the right front
No
or
cup holders in the
passenger
way?
side.
Yeah, exactly.
Backup officer has a clear field of fire using the trunk of Unit 1A as cover. The driver is ordered out and assumes the same positioning to the left of the first suspect. It is important to get the driver out quickly, since there is always the possibility.
He's trying to pay for the kids' college.
These guys are probably like 18. Let's be honest.
Those are the people committing crimes back then.
To his knees, and then assume
just
a
heavy
prone
chain
position.
smokers, but they're 18.
Now the suspect in the right rear is instructed to follow suit. He is told to face left. This way, the suspects cannot see one another as they are handcuffed. The arresting officer verbally controls the suspects. The last man to be removed is the suspect sitting in the left rear.
I guess there must have been one guy as the getaway driver.
Yeah,
The
one
arresting
driver.
officer checks the suspect vehicle.
Still
carefully
checking the car.
to
My
ensure
dog.
Additional suspects might be hidden
What,
from
does he
view.
okay, that's his
The
pistol. I
vehicle
thought that
will
was his
be
PA mic. I was
thoroughly
like, damn, how
searched
long
after
is
the
that
suspects
wire?
are handcuffed. Sufficient assistance has arrived to
There
allow
we go.
movement.
Let's go.
The arresting officer takes the handcuffs from the first backup officer and moves into a control position to begin handcuffing and initial physical searching. He will continue to maintain command of the situation until suspects are ready for transport. Handcuffing will be in a right to left sequence. Utilizing this procedure, the suspects cannot see what is happening. This is another
As it should
factor
be.
in keeping a suspect physically and psychologically off balance.
Look at the way he's
Not
stood him up,
that's
dude.
how you lift people, but my dog just straight clean and jerk this guy.
He picked him up like you pick up a
Where
dog
he
that's
or
misbehaving.
she can manipulate their hands. When cuffing, also make sure the cuffs are double locked.
Yes.
After
That's not how you pick
handcuffing, the
people up.
arresting officer makes a cursory check for weapons.
When you don't give a shit
Though
about
a more
their
thorough
shoulders.
search will be made before the suspect is placed in the patrol unit for transportation, this initial search must be made. Notice the search pays off, as handguns are found.
No gloves.
Note
Oh, yeah.
also that the arresting
Yeah.
officer
Take
places
that one
the
off.
Get your
found
prints all
weapon
over that
in
thing.
his waistband, where he can keep control of the weapon, plus maintaining the chain of evidence.
Great
Note
handcuffing,
how the
dude.
officer maintains
Super
physical
fat. He
control.
didn't double.
Each
He didn't
suspect
double.
be
is
his off-duty
searched
gun
again.
now.
This is
Yep.
most important.
This drop gun.
Too many
Asset
officers
forfeiture,
have been
bro.
killed by a suspect
Look at the way he puts
who
his
is
head against the
commonly trained. Using established procedure,
Dog.
the
He probably also
apprehension
said
is
spread your
completed
legs.
with a
Hey.
minimum of
This is
danger.
kind of.
Four
That frisking
felony
stance is
suspects have been
legit.
arrested
That's
by
not
a
bad,
single
yeah.
well-trained officer
That
using
was there whenever I
sound
was there.
techniques and a team
Still
approach.
around.
You
Let's look
put their
back at the
forehead on the
operation
car?
and stress the
Yep.
vital factors.
Keep them off balance.
The
Right.
officers
on their
utilized
toes and
every
their forehead.
advantage possible,
Man,
both
I was a
physical
cop at the
and
wrong time.
psychological.
Yes, sir.
They were cool. They did not rush
Did gloves
headlong
exist
into the
back then?
situation. They did
Yeah,
not
they were
play
super
hero.
expensive.
Oxnard
Too many
PD.
brave
That's
but
kind of
foolish
impressive,
and
to be
untrained
honest.
officers
Did
had
gloves
been
exist back
impressive.
then? Yes.
What's
but they
impressive
were
is that you
expensive.
said that name correctly.
Oxnard?
Yeah.
It's only because the Cowboys do their off-season there.
I thought the X would really throw you off.
Are you? Approach a potentially
No, because Onyx or
dangerous
whatever it was,
situation
that person's
with
name was.
extreme
I'm learning slowly.
Yeah, what'd you call him?
I don't know. Waxy or something? Yeah, something dumb. It wasn't anything worth repeating.
when rolling on a particular felony call. Always park your vehicle so it offers the most protection.
They
and
still do this,
concealment
but for different
yourself.
reasons.
When possible, utilize your shotgun. It is a far better weapon than your handgun for most situations, both
Yes.
ballistically and psychologically.
you
Remember
also
your
have
radio.
rifles.
It is your lifeline to your
Yeah,
safety
rifles are better
supporting
than
you.
all of you above.
Note how the arresting
Very much
officer
so.
utilizes the cuffs of the backup officers. Learn to work as a team in backup situations. Never take anything for granted.
On board with
Always
that.
Search a suspect
Well, maybe not that,
thoroughly.
but
That's a little
With
sus.
proper and
But
frequent training, the odds in the street against the
Christian
individual
Halsey, what's going
officer
on?
can be
I do
narrow.
like that
But it
one
depends
officer takes
on the
another
department.
officer's position.
And above
Yes.
all, it depends
As they
on
move.
you. the
it's pretty solid,
individual
I'll be honest.
officer.
Like, I'm not mad about any of this.
Is that the General Lee?
It does look like the General Lee.
Charger.
They make bail? Oh no, that's the officers. They went
This
home.
Ready to go home.
survived because
Oh,
he knew
wifey
his
picked
job
him
and
up.
performed it well. He can go home with a deserved feeling of accomplishment.
I need to
in
go
knowing
buy like
he
a
has
CUDA
again served
just so
and
that I
protected
can
his community.
have a bench seat in a sports car.
You must have got a raise if you're going to buy a CUDA.
No, yeah, well, no. I said I want to. I can barely afford to fix my poor little cars now, not to mention a project kit car or something.
You know, you can still get trucks with bench seats.
My back seat's with the bench seat.
No, I'm talking front.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
When I was looking at diesels, the first one I looked at had a bench seat. Yep.
That's kind of cool.
Yep.
Gloves were in beta testing.
They still had some bugs in them.
They probably actually got
Like
jail
literal
time back
bugs.
then. Yes.
Probably.
Bro, I need to practice this.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
no, you
He's got to
don't.
go super
you don't.
wide-eyed.
What
You're gonna
happens when
start
the
wearing
cops
a suit too.
put their foot in the door? Ouch, hey, that hurt. Yeah, man, you said you didn't have a warrant, so maybe don't put your foot there while I'm slamming. Funny guy, huh? I could arrest you for that. Even if they don't have a warrant, slamming a door on a cop's foot could actually get you charged with assaulting an officer. All units, we got an ouchie wouchie code red, over. Boo-boo received, officer. Dispatching kissy wissies now. Hurry! To avoid this, here's a few tricks. Oh no! Now instead of slamming your door, take a step back further into your home. Oh, I'm in. Remember, do not consent to a search, and since they don't have a warrant, you can tell them, please get off my property, and I invoke the fifth. They may still come in, but now they have to decide between justifying entering your home without a warrant or just leaving. Darn, this is usually easier when I get to do my old foot in the door trick. But subscribers know the number one way
least
to
the
avoid
actor
the foot
cop
in the
is
door
using a
is
handpiece.
don't open the door in the first place. Always ask
Let's
first.
go!
Warrant? No.
Great
Now
advice.
ask, you like amendments? Yeah. Well, I invoke the fifth. How do you like dim amendments? What happens?
Yes.
This was, I give a solid 4 out of 10 on this one. Or no, 4 out of 5. Sorry. I keep doing it out of 10. I don't know why. I guess it'd be an 8 out of 10. But not opening the door is probably the best idea.
100%, because that's why Ring doorbells were invented.
Like,
Don't open the door at all.
I know that there's in certain apartment complexes, like they won't let you if you're renting, like you might not have access to it or whatever it is.
Well, you at least have a peephole then.
I was going to say, just don't open the door. Now, if they have exigency, they'll force entry. If they have a warrant, they'll force entry. Let that happen, but don't let it be that you're opening it and then you're in this, because it is a weird gray area. Have I stuck my foot in a door? 100%. It's not a trick. It's I knew I had exigency to go in. I'm just trying not to break my knee having to kick the door open.
Yep.
Part of it's also like once you open the door, you're opening yourself up to plain view doctrine, which is that I'm in a legal place, I'm outside. Even if I didn't have a warrant, the second that door swings open, I'm outside of the apartment and I can visually see inside. And if I happen to see, your girlfriend that you just beat the hell out of, that you're trying to make sure I don't know about, then now I have all the exigency I need. Well, not even that, I had PC at that point.
Or if you're real petty and you smell marijuana.
Yeah.
You freeze the scene.
Yep. And go write your warrant and the whole nines. Just don't open your door.
But then do a safety search.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't this is okay advice. I get this is much better than the first one.
I would start with don't open the door.
Yeah, I would start with that. I bless
That's
it.
the best.
Dylan gets it.
Don't open the door.
Yeah.
Just coming.
Petty.
Shannon, thank you.
So
what is this?
I saved this one because she uses my favorite of pedestrian in a roadway.
Okay.
Get out of the street for me.
What's your name again?
I already told you. Get out of the street.
First
Is that a lawful order?
Yep.
It is?
Get out of the street. You're
What's
a
the
pedestrian
law?
in a roadway.
It's a lawful order?
Pedestrian in a roadway. I need you to
What
get
would
out
be
of the
the
street.
crime, though?
Do so now, or you will be arrested.
I just talked
Get out
to
of
your
the
sergeant.
street.
Your sergeant just told me I can be here. Why do you
Did
think
he,
I'm
though?
back? Yeah. We just had a conversation with the sergeant. He said we can stand here.
Okay, I'm gonna double check.
Yeah. Go ahead and double check.
I told her as long as they stay out of our way.
He's not. He's totally in my way.
Just stay out of her way. That's all
I'm not in your way.
You're in my personal bubble, though. Okay, and it makes me uncomfortable. I have weapons on me that are within
You're
hands reach.
escalating and you're raising
That's
your
okay.
voice. You've
I
been
need you to back
aggressive
away from
since
me.
the beginning.
Back away from me.
Is it illegal? I'm not. Is there a crime scene? I'm not interfering with
No, but
anything.
you are in my area. I need you to back away. You're
Is that
within
a law?
hands.
You see all the other officers
You're
walking
within-
away?
You're within hands reach of my
I would
weapons,
also
and I need
You're
you to
giving
back
them
up.
exactly what they want at this point.
Yeah. If you see, here's a clue. A phone's usually enough, but if you have a DSLR on a baby gimbal with a shotgun mic. Like, this guy's job is to get footage
of
police interactions.
Yeah.
Probably don't give it to him. Do I think that they're probably on like some sort of foot patrol or whatever it is for probably a pretty high crime area, or at least like a high visibility area? Sure. Had to do this plenty. We had Texas Live and the
Also,
stadium.
if the road is shut down, like it looks like it is for some kind of street event, your pedestrian in a roadway no longer matters.
Probably doesn't hold. Though I get the annoyance of this guy being weird, I would just leave at that point. I'm
the
with
best
her.
thing you can do is walk away, because then they get nothing.
Agreed. There's no footage. They don't get to sell it. Whatever it is. I will say this: will they on the back end be like, "Oh, I scared a cop"? Sure. But it saves you from being in this situation, because who cares? They're the type of people that have nothing better to do than to antagonize police. I will say this, and if you're a person that happens to be this type of person, what if she was like those type of cops that make bad decisions that end up getting people hurt? Are you really scared, or are you really like trying to do, if you're like knowingly and intentionally putting yourself in this place to go get hurt? You don't know what type of cop you're approaching, though she hopefully doesn't take any enforcement action and thinks better of this. Let's say she doesn't, and let's say she crazy escalates this. Is it worth it? Probably not. This reminds me of the guy that was harassing that dude in the mall. He was like a prank guy.
And he
And shot him right in the chest. Yeah, like, and that guy got cleared of all charges because, and specifically in this instance, like, you failed to be the victim once you start approaching somebody that clearly doesn't want you there. As the police officer, I would move. However, you still do have some individual rights. Like, let's say he gets very, very close to you and gets confrontational and touches you, it becomes a very different ballgame.
Well, and what if she walks away and he follows her?
Well, it becomes different,
That's
right?
a different story.
Very different, right?
That was my thought when she went over to her superiors. He did follow her, which obviously, like, he could follow her there, right? Because he's going to go figure out, like, what's this guy going to say?
Sure.
But if he continues to do that when she's just like, okay, well, I'm going to just walk where the rest of these officers are, and he keeps following her, like, how does that change the interaction?
Now I think you're on the edge of interfering with duties.
Yeah, or something like that, where it's like, I'm trying to do other things and I have interdiction responsibilities or whatever, and I'm having to now babysit you.
Yeah.
The other part of it too, so most of it, and auditors really aren't that complicated. We had a couple in the area where I was.
They were so lame.
It was.
I wish I could remember their names.
I also wish they were just better. I would have had more fun with it if they were just better at what they did. Most of the time, their whole gambit is to run up, yell, ask dumb questions. On traffic stops or whatever it is. This I could teach a class on how to deal with this. It's not terribly complicated, but
probably should.
We should.
Be another YouTube show.
I'm gonna teach how to deal with auditors. And as far as auditors are concerned, I think if auditors really cared about getting change, they would spend more time doing what we're doing and looking for specific police misconduct and then pulling up arguments or complaints that way. If anything, ambulance chasers are doing a better job of dealing with police misconduct than some guy trying to get views on YouTube, or whatever this is, TikTok. I have very little respect for those because they don't really care about victims here.
This was an NYPD
How long should we let him sleep?
Yikes.
That's big yikes.
Yeah, wake your ass up. What wrong with you?
Oh, you slept in the middle? Oh, is he in a parking? Is this a controlled lot?
I think this is an NYPD lot.
You mad because you got caught sleeping?
I'm in, I'm on you.
Don't touch me. It don't matter.
Go, get away.
Don't touch me.
Get away.
I'm on the sidewalk.
Get away.
What's your name? Why are you approaching me like that?
My man, get away.
This kind of looks like a secure lot.
Get off the street.
I was just on the sidewalk.
Okay.
You pushed me off the sidewalk. Now you telling me to go off the street. Stop touching
Can't
me, bro.
tell. I saw a chain link fence.
Bro. What's wrong with him?
That's the only reason I have a question.
In the car and I want to touch
See the chain link fence?
What's your name? Give me a
looks
card.
like it's for the park, on the other side of the street.
Take a picture.
Give me a card, bro.
I don't have one. You can take a picture.
So you want to go
There is a lot of
hands on,
patrol
your body
cars there,
camera's
though.
not on. You got caught sleeping in the car, and now you touching me. So give me a card, bro.
Right there. You have enough time.
As soon as you touch me, I need your card, bro.
Okay.
Now, technically, he
And of course, they're
provided.
going to back him up unlawfully. You touching me unlawfully. What reason do you have to touch me?
What do you mean?
So
Why
if
you
this is a
touching me?
public
Why are you
street, you
recording me?
probably should not be
Because it's my
sleeping in your
duty
car.
to. It's called the right to know
For
act.
what reason?
Because you're
My
sleeping
duty.
in the car.
I'm on
It's
me.
my job. I'm
My
a
tax dollars are paying for you to
harass cops?
stand.
Did I say anything to you?
You don't pay taxes. Quit lying.
well,
Stand in every corner.
Dan
Did I
probably
say
pays a
anything
lot
to
of
you?
taxes.
Bro, what are you
where
talking
he's
about?
at.
Bro, he should be mad at the other patrol guys who were supposed to be his lookout.
Yeah.
That boy V, I'm gonna
I'm
go
confused
get my
where this
T-Cole.
is at though.
Yeah,
Yeah, this seems
the
like a-
location does matter. I think if this is a secure
like-
lot, this guy goes to jail.
Because like his uniform is open and like half
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. No, it looks like a public access street.
Yeah, it's like a public access street. There's just a lot of cop cars on this in this
That's
parking
weird.
lot. So I wonder if it's like,
Don't take naps in your car.
yeah.
Unless you're in a
By
secure
yourself.
area.
Yeah, this is super
That boy
unsafe.
V, yeah, that boy V said that we should totally do an audit encounters T-Cole class. If I can I'll get my T-Cole instructor license. Dad had already told me I need to do it.
Yep.
And
Totally should.
we'll see. I'll see if I can get T-Cole to authorize. I'll make some PowerPoints or whatever the hell I have to do to. I think it'd be hilarious.
I've got mine. Do the lesson plan. I'll submit it for you.
Dog.
We'll get a number for it.
Dog. Oh, and there's like little practicals in class. That'd be half of it. We'd talk about it. We'd talk about lawful authority, and then we'd talk.
I'll be
we'd
the
do
auditor.
practicals. That's what I was about to say. You just harass a bunch of dudes in service. Let's practice this. Let's. Do we?
I got under your
that'd be fun.
skin in 17 seconds.
I can be a professional piece of shit.
All right. This is our last cringe video. I won't submit you guys to too many of these.
Oh, well, the music's gonna get us in trouble here.
Yeah, I'm muting it. I just wanted you to know what he was singing.
Huh.
I may walk among the sheep.
But make no mistake.
I'm a sheepdog.
Now, is he actually singing, or do you think he's lip singing?
He's lip syncing. That's a TikTok audio. It's
And
just
is this vape gas that we got here? Or is this put in After Effects?
This is an After.
Probably
It's
an
not even
After
After Effect. It's like a TikTok filter smoke
Oh,
thing.
I thought it was in a pool car.
I think the thing that makes me the most mad about these videos is just how many people around here like just
Be
like
safe.
really like really powerful, stay safe hero. Like shut the fuck up. This is the cringiest crap on the planet. You're all over here just
I will say this.
encouraging it.
There's young people out there, and Gen Z's weird and very vain, and I don't know. Maybe I was that way at some point in my life.
Is this Derek? Yes, this is Derek.
But I was about to say the same thing. There's the younger kids out there. Spend as much as I made fun of the rookie episode where they're all like off duty studying penal code and stuff like that. If you want to get notoriety for being a good police officer, be good at your job. It'll come. It'll happen. Get involved in your community. Go find bad guys. Go take them to jail. And if there's not that, I don't know. Just go be present, right? I would rather see you be the hero that you are by, saving a child's life by doing CPR or dragging somebody from a burning car or whatever. Something cool. I don't know. Just do that. It's better. I won't roast you. Shame him. Yeah, it's pretty cringe, dog. It's just not cool. You're not cool for doing it.
We call it PT, and that stands for physical training.
This is,
We do some running,
Orange
we do a lot
County,
of
I think?
functional fitness,
Yeah, Orange County
push-ups,
Sheriff's
sit-ups,
Office.
burpees, mountain climbers. We do it every day.
Florida or California?
This music's kind of intense. High knees, let's go.
So this here is conditioned to get them ready because out in the field, they could be running anywhere from 28 to 32 pounds of extra gear. So this just keeps you up to speed and ready to go ready at any time.
The only
Them,
thing
there's
I
a
hate
clock
about
in there, they
this,
can't
a
tell
lot
how
of
long
times.
it'll go. So for them, there's the unknown.
Pause it real
That's just
quick.
the mind-
So like imagine Bill's running this class, right? But Bill has no other job other than PT, right? Like that's his only function. That's the only thing I hate about these oftentimes is that you just sat in a classroom for 6 hours, like sitting there and probably eating shit food and doing whatever and then doing this. versus getting to like prep your meal around your surprise workout that's going to happen. That's only my only beef with this is like set your cadets up for success by making it in a time that makes sense. Like let them have the one thing I will say about our fitness thing is though I don't think it was hard enough. They did put in cool down time and warm up time to our workouts, which does reduce injuries, right? And we still had injuries even with that happening, just the nature of the type of stuff that you're doing. But too often I'll see people that get this responsibility and don't treat it well, because you should be looking at the health and wellness, and then there's going to be some aspect of it that's going to be mental toughness, which is good. I think you should. I'm glad that they all look miserable. They should look miserable regardless of their level of fitness, because that's what we're teaching here, right? I do also like that most of this is calisthenics based, and they're just making them super tired and making them continue to do stuff. That's probably the most useful, although I do think some weight training is important. There are big lifts, especially your big lifts. I think those are probably really important for sustaining in fights.
Compound movements are always going to be king when it comes to a job like that, because doing like very muscle specific stuff isn't going to help you. Like you know, the troopers we see with like the jacked arms.
They're just doing nothing but curls, right?
Like they're gonna give you a mean hug.
Right. Like you can do bicep curls and tricep rope press downs till you're blue in the face, but I would like to see what like their bench press, squat, deadlift, overhead press, and like bent over row looks like.
And I would even argue, if you look at like football, when you're training for something like that, where it's a very dynamic, you'll see huge guys that still spend probably half of their time in the weight room and the other half of the time when they're training on agility. So this is being able to have explosive movement, being able to adapt to like really awkward, like if you're having to jump a fence, when you're having to get over stuff, it's all very awkward. There's no like ergonomic way to do it. But if your body's used to adjusting and you have all those strong, what'd you call them, like ancillary muscles? There's all like the weird little ones that are like in your hip joints and all that kind of stuff. Like those muscles need more development, and you don't get a ton of that with weight room stuff. Because part of it's like just having the agility to do it. The other part of it's doing it enough that you're not rolling your ankle every time.
If you're going to do weights, don't waste your time on like body part specific stuff. Focus on compound movements, because like think about what having a strong bench press could do for you if you were in a fight. And then if you have a strong lower body, that's going to help you support your extra gear, like he was talking about, sitting in those damn cars with a gun belt on. And then like a strong hinge movement, like a deadlift, just helps protect your lower back. Like there's a lot more good that could come from spending some time strength training, the big lifts, and then spending some time conditioning and agility, more so than like trying to look yoked in your uniform so you can make a TikTok video.
And I think most of that, like there's a lot of vanity when it comes to fitness, right? Like it's totally a thing. However, in policing, the reason why I think it's kind of critical is because you're gonna eat shit. Like you're gonna fall. You're going to tumble out of something. You're going to get in a fight and lose your footing.
You know what protects your bones and your joints?
I was going to say it's having muscle and having some level of fitness.
Muscle protects
and also
your bones
like
and your joints. So does flexibility. Or
not
mobility at least.
And even just on the cardio side of it, not being exhausted.
That like just helps your body all around.
That's what I was getting at. But it helps you a little bit when you just got in a foot chase and now I have to go and double lock these damn cuffs. Or just remember to do it.
And I don't think you should be too heavily focusing on one or the other. Like I don't think you should be like a pro level power lifter and then also a marathon runner.
No.
I think you should be good at lifting weights in a compound movement and then like a sprinter who can also give about 20 minutes of good endurance.
Anyways, it's important.
Mind game about you keep pushing.
I think doing this shit with the mask on is awful, though. That just looks terrible.
Being lazy.
Here that don't put it on the map.
Fatigue makes cowards of us all.
Semi-true. We might start out with
Oh,
50 or
they don't have to wear their
40.
masks outside?
And with the
No.
first week, you might
Just
have
inside?
7 or 8 just
Got
quit
it.
because they're not ready for physical fitness. And that's okay because they can come back later on and come back ready to go and do.
I do like how many body weight movements they're doing.
Oh yeah.
I
Very
do
good
think that's
beginning,
very
very
good to
into
like
it. We can't go all
learn
the way
how
into it, but
you
just know that
move your
as
own
you get into
body.
it, the suffering will stop, and just embrace it. The quicker you embrace it,
I say that
the
as
better
they
it
do
is.
1 knee up crunches.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
But I mean, like, yeah.
Definitely not
like
bad.
the end all be all like push up, squat, lunge, like
Yeah.
is never not going to be useful, you know. But
Burpees, baby.
yeah, dude. Even just like
Just for fatigue. Just using burpees to build fatigue and
Yeah.
then make you do something. Incredible.
oh, the guy disappeared.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Officer West.
I'm Officer Garrison.
Today we're going to talk about our field training program,
How many times
what
do
it
you think
takes
I had to
for
do
a
that?
brand new officer out of the academy to make it to solo patrol.
I like the gray
6.
hair on this guy.
6 times.
Oh, animation. Okay.
They even did tracking. And then they had the
Welcome everybody. Again, I'm Officer West.
JPEG.
Today we're going to be
He's got
talking
an
about
earpiece.
what it
I'm
takes
already
for,
excited.
brand new police officers fresh out of the academy
That's how they're feeding them lines.
to make it to where they're handling
Pause it
calls
real
on their
quick.
own and doing everything.
Does my dog have a trident on his?
That's SWAT, I bet.
Okay, I was
It's a
like,
SWAT pin.
okay, that makes more sense.
It seems to be pretty common because I think we've seen it on other uniforms, and I think that one I don't think says it. But another one that we saw like that, it's like
Oh, it looks like a rifle and something.
yeah,
else.
it's like a
Okay.
rifle, an eagle, and
I was
something.
I was like, my dude went from a SEAL and not just writing books afterwards. He went
But
to go
one
be a
that we
cop.
saw, well, he could go to ARFCOM and roast you guys in videos.
That's true. That's true.
But the one that we saw a couple weeks ago had SWAT underneath of it, so I think that's just like a SWAT
Okay.
emblem.
That makes sense.
Aspect
My
of what it takes to be a police officer in the city of Dixon and the process they go through. And
Oh, he's reading it.
why we're covering that right now is we actually have an officer, Officer Head. He's recently graduated his academy, and
My boy.
you know, by all accounts, the state of Illinois says that he is a fully fledged police officer. However, you know, the city of Dixon and many other police agencies, we put officers through what we call a field training program, and once they go through that program, they get a dedicated field training officer that's assigned to that person to ensure that they are learning all the
To make sure he's not a
procedures and
fuck up.
policies of our specific department or the city, the geography, everything else that comes along with it. So,
Dad, did you ever
currently we have,
train?
Officer
Did you ever
Scott,
train?
Who is the
Dude, I trained
officer
for-
Officer Head right now.
Well,
And
pause it real
over
quick.
him.
How many police officers do you think you trained?
Well, firstly, deputies.
Or deputies? Sorry. Sorry. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Deputies.
Are we not all peace officers in the state of Texas?
I
No, back in
believe,
Keith's day, they were war officers.
yeah. Probably 30.
Dang, that's a lot.
That's a
Yeah.
lot.
I trained a lot of guys.
That is a lot.
Yep.
Because that's a long relation. Did y'all on y'all's? Were you the only one they got, or did they get a couple?
It would depend because sometimes, like, we had different subsections, or we had an East and West division. So you might start off East, and then you may go to another officer West. You may, and then there towards the end of it, especially, I would drag them all over the state. We would go do different things at different
He
locations.
said drag.
Yeah.
He did, yeah, he did.
Probably be right.
But yeah, for most of it, they spent most of it with one FTO. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's an intense relationship. I still have very both fond and not fond memories of my field training officers.
Yeah.
But it's very formative. They really have a lot on shaping the type of police officer you'll end up becoming.
All mine were fond. They were great.
There were some of them. Obviously, this job is not for everybody, and I washed out some because they had aspirations. They wanted to be enforcement, but the job didn't fit them.
How many did you wash out versus pass? Off the top of your head.
10% washout.
Probably so. About 10%. A lot of them were just, they just, again, they had the desire, but they just didn't have the follow-up, and some of them, they weren't good at decision making, would have probably gotten themselves killed. It was bad temperament. It was all kinds of things. And then
I believe it.
And then we just had some that would just do inappropriate stuff, borderline illegal. And it's like, nope, I'm not passing you.
Lock themselves in a patrol car, things like that.
Yikes. All right, Juan, I gotta fuck up your cameras.
Okay.
Gotta go.
I'll read
I gots to go.
Bye, Bill.
Bye, Bill.
Love
Bye.
you. I miss you.
Love you
Thanks for
all.
joining us.
Also, shout out to the Ross Martin shirt. Don't think I didn't see that. My boy.
I know you saw it.
I'll send him in.
We'll talk more about that later.
Copy that.
All right, I will see you all again on Tuesday next week.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Oh, messed up my camera and then messed it up again. Let me fix it. There we are. Okay, we're good.
You got us a little skinny anyways. We'll keep going.
Yeah, we all lost weight,
Basics to get the officer up and going to begin training for the first 4 weeks of being out of the academy. Typically, phase 1 is during the daylight, and then the officer will transition to night shift for phase 2 and for phase 3.
Is that how it was for you, Josh?
No, mine was all on evenings. All of it. I did my mid eval on days. That was it.
Ticket or warning. So going over that stop, anything that let's talk. I guess positives, negatives, anything that you would change.
I screwed up and didn't introduce myself.
This is a raw training, field training thing.
And then phase 2 will begin to more be at a jogging pace for the officer. Then you throw in the element that it puts them on night shift, so it kind of throws them off guard to where they have to remember all the geography, and then it gets them into handling different types of calls on night shift.
As you may have learned already, we kind of focus on a lot of different areas when we're training our officers. We look kind of at major points in law enforcement training.
It's a weird way to hold a light.
The most obvious would be the use of motor vehicle. Everybody sees cops driving around in squad cars. So one of the big things we have to look at is how they're driving the car in traffic, how they operate the car when they're responding to an emergency. Also the use of the equipment with the car, including sirens, lights.
Yeah, white Hyundai.
With no plate, dude? He just flashbanged his buddy. He turned on the spotlight.
You're at Pump Factory in Harriet.
Be Pump Factory.
Then phase 3 is more of a running pace to where they are handling 75 to 80% up to 90% of the calls on their own without the FTO's assistance.
Also, we focus on areas with officer safety and patrol tactics and how to be present and how to be safe around individuals, for yourself and for the community.
One of the big points that we try to teach new guys is interpersonal relationships. That's one of the key areas that we also, train them on. And that's simply just talking with people and dealing with them and, trying to relate with them. So people are our whole job. If people weren't around, we'd just be animal enforcement.
That Apple Watch.
We wouldn't have traffic or anything else. So, our whole job is, we're in the people business. So learning how to
also
talk
wearing
with
your
people,
seatbelt is sin.
understand,
He's learning. Look at
what's
him.
going on with them and how to relate to
He
them.
was so
and
unsure
understand
about,
that,
like,
we're
should I
humans
take
too,
off my
so we have that
seatbelt?
immediate connection.
I still
and
do
then
that.
also,
I still
getting the
unbuckle before I
newer
pull
guys
into the garage. I'm unbuckling
to
before I.
grasp that there's a time
5
and a place
seconds away
for
from my
people
house.
that
Oh,
are
yeah.
going to be angry at us and they're going to be
Yeah.
yelling
Bring my
and
weapon.
Jump out real
shouting
fast.
everything else, and you just sit there and
That
take it because
was
that's
the
part of
way
our
it
job.
went for so
There's
many
also
years,
time to
and it's
understand
just
that,
a habit I still haven't broken yet.
on the flip side, we're not doormats either, so there comes a time and place to, it's time to rock and roll. So again, relationships are a big thing. So if we can
You definitely
try to
look like a
pass
rock and
those
roll kind
on,
of guy.
those key points onto, the
That's what I'm
trainees
getting
or
paid for.
the newer officers, that's probably a big win for us.
A really nice.
So ultimately, it's up to the field training officers to ensure that the
I
new
feel so bad
officers
for him.
are
I guarantee you he's not
fully
volunteering
trained
for
up to
this.
the department
He got
standards.
told.
What's funny
and that,
is you're not
They
getting
have
to
the trust of
see.
the
I bet you if they did an
department.
actual show of what FTO looked like if you had like legit behind the scenes stuff, the amount of getting cussed out when you get to like phase 3, like when you're getting to like, there's a DWI pursuit and there's Keith like, boy, you better get on that. Like, or he just grabs the mic. We're gonna be en route. Like, boy, kick on the lights, or even just like emergency domestic or something like that. Like in good FTOs, once you were at that point in your training career, would find shit for you to get into. I remember I got put on timeout, me and my FTO collectively, because you work as a unit when you're still in field training. We were told to sit in a parking lot because you guys met the threshold of too many use of force in too short amount of time. It's like we were forced to sit in a parking lot and do nothing. If we got dispatched to something, we had to go, but they were like, don't go looking for anything, don't go whatever, because I get fired if I get written up in field training versus my field training officer is a full-fledged police officer at that point in time. They have an arbitration process, whatever. Any screw up you do when you're in field training, you're pretty much gone. And even for us, when we were rookies at my department, there was also a probationary period after that. So our field training was typically about 4 months, like 3 to 4 months after academy. And then there was another 6 months after that, or you were still on probation. Anything could go from a write-up to firing, almost right off the bat. Like they were very heavily scrutinizing. Your poor supervisor, whoever that was, like hated rookies because they were having to skim all of your body cam and skim all of your reports, like with a lot more detail than you would like an experienced officer, where you're like, unless I get a complaint, I'm probably not looking at it.
Yeah.
It's pretty. Do what?
There's a lot of. It's a pretty heavy weight responsibility to train an officer.
I buy that.
You have to make sure that they're as prepared as can be to get out there while you're with them, while they have this other guy with them. They've basically got another officer, another gun, everything. So you want to protect them as you teach them. And so, as a training officer, I was always, my hope was always that when I cut them loose, they would do well and be safe and make it and be, good officers that did their job, didn't get complaints. I was really heavy on the ethics with them. Ethics are, because there was no such thing as two-man in county.
Yeah, I bet that.
You're by yourself, so you had to conduct yourself in a way that, and you had to have extremely good communication skills. So, and that was always, you just sit there, it just kind of gives you nightmares. It's like, what if I didn't teach them enough?
I can imagine. Yeah. And I don't really think they put, it's not enough time.
Yeah.
I really don't think any single police department, and it's because the FTO's time is very valuable, right? Like they want you training as many people as they can, but to do that, it has to be on a relatively compressed timeline. And I don't think anyone's field training policy thing is long enough. I think they should be spending more time in field training, maybe just with more training wheels, and less time in academy. Because there's a lot of training scars you end up getting in academy that don't translate too terribly well. Like you never use the radio in academy, ever. I've never seen a single thing where they're making you do like correct radio traffic.
Right.
They're not making you listen to it. They're not making you do any of that stuff. So when you're a rookie, like that first like month is rough. Because then you're keying up saying stupid shit, especially when you're coming from like a department that uses 10 codes. Like I would ask, Deputy Keith, where are you? And he'd look at me like, the fuck he just say on the radio? When I should be asking like, what's your 20?
Yeah.
So much faster. Now everyone hates me because I just took 5 seconds to say something that should have taken 1 second on the radio, right? Or instead of saying, I'm Officer Josh, I am down the street and I should be on scene in a minute. Like immediately everyone in that shift hates me, including the dispatcher. But like you're not learning any of these things. And so all of the skills you're developing, you're not developing them with radio traffic in mind.
Yeah.
On top of that, you're not developing it with orientation in mind. You're not learning a lot of this in a very organic environment. And so like,
well, so then
it's
with
stressful.
that kind of the Dixon phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 kind of.
That's what we all had.
Model. Well, no, I know, but I'm saying like how they started you on day shift, then you moved to nights, then you. It seemed like they were kind of like soft stepping you through like the beginning. So where you maybe are, like you said, with more training wheels, maybe you start with kind of easier stuff. Learn your, hey, here's your 10 codes. Hey, here's how you communicate properly.
I'd make them start in the dispatch room. Like legit, it'd be that far back. I would make them start in the dispatch room. I'd probably make them do time with detectives where they're having to read reports and they're having to look at like how reports are filled out and how people are articulating things in reports. Like, cause that's a whole part of the job that your poor FTO just got in a foot chase with you because you're a jackass and don't know how to do scene security, right? So you let somebody run, you guys are down both tired and annoyed because you guys just both got in a fight, right? And now he has to sit there for an hour and a half while you figure out how to write a domestic violence report, right? And he's going to let you take a swing at it. And now he's just... I don't know how you guys did it pre-cell phones, but like just sitting there staring at you. Or I don't know, bullshitting at the payphone or whatever. Until you're done with the report. Then he has to read it. Like roll his eyes the whole time and hand it back to you and say, try it again with a little bit more love or effort. Like it's not... You're wasting so much time learning that part of the job where you really could be onto another call where maybe you can learn more. Or he could spend more time talking you through it as opposed to waiting for you to finish your report because you've never done one before. And you've never, like there's so many of these like, you even put them in the jail for a little bit just so they learn how all of that stuff works. How to properly search a person that's not like your friend or in a training. This is a person who's trying to bring shit into the jail. Like practice. There's so many of these smaller steps that could happen in academy, like before they're actually on the street, like a sworn peace officer. And then if they can show progress in those areas, the only downside is you're now probably slowing all of those individuals down on their job because now they're having to babysit you on top of that or showcase it. It would be a radical shift away. I think the reason we have the way almost everyone does what they just described. Where there's like the walking phase, the like jogging phase, running phase, and then there's like ghost phase where they just kind of leave you alone. It's the fastest way to weed out who can do it and who can't. Because you figure it out. Like, we figured it out, but my FTOs would know within the first week or two whether or not, even if we were still screwing up a lot because we were new, they're like, this person has the emotional maturity, they handle pressure very well, they take like coaching very well. And they have great, like it was the one thing I always had was people skills. Like I have a people skills. I've had that since birth, basically. And so like that I didn't struggle with, but I had to learn orientation or I had to learn how to be more skeptical, right? Like, but you're way too trusting. Boy, you grew up sheltered as hell. Like stuff like that. That's kind of what I mean. There's no good way to do this efficiently. So, and they're erring on the side of efficiency and just saying the streets will wash you out.
One thing about county as opposed to city in Texas, most people at county, nobody goes to the street without working the jail first. So one good thing about it, and you know, especially like in my case, I wasn't old enough. I had to sit for 2 years, and I would get to go out with the patrol guys as like a second, and I was to sit there, shut up, and do nothing unless they were being assaulted. But I could go out with them until I turned 21. You can't be a peace officer in Texas until you're 21. Can't carry a gun, can't do anything. So my first 2 years, I was lucky. I got to go in. I learned how to communicate. My cuffing skills were A+ by the time I got, because I cuffed inmates all the time. You know?
You got good at it, yeah.
But I think it's, you know, police department. I mean, dude working at Payless last week, now he's going to an academy. You know, I felt like I had an advantage going to the jail, having to deal with nothing but 100% criminals on the street. You deal with, you're just
it's a mixed bag. Yeah,
it's a mixed bag, and every once in a while you come in contact with criminal depending on where you work. But we dealt with 100%. So you learned how to communicate. You learned how to check your attitude. So by the time we got to the street, it was just learn your penal code. We were already using 10 codes, our agents' codes on the radio. So,
you're also listening to radio traffic probably a lot.
Yeah. So I like
that's a great policy, I think.
Yeah.
I want to thank Stepbro because I missed our allowance, but I want to thank you for the allowance and for the super chat. I see DFresh 909's question, and I think the number one trait is maturity. That's a hard thing to
Good
quantify.
judgment.
Yeah, so it's the because you can be in great shape, but have shit judgment, right? Yeah, I think you could also be like patient, but patience doesn't necessarily mean flexibility, because there's sometimes where you have to wing it. Even in like, you can look at simple tasks like interviewing a suspect, right? Or just interviewing a person. For you don't no idea if this person's committed a crime or not, but all you know is there's a loud noise and you show up. And a patient person might think, well, I have an hour to conduct this investigation. You're like, nah, just make a stab in the dark and see what you get, right? Like, or wing it, and you're gonna have to guess, because a lot of policing, unfortunately, at times can be guesswork. Like, a mature person will have the ability to discern the difference between a very serious matter and a not so serious matter, even when taking criticism from an FTO. Though Keith and I agree on probably like 99% of things with policing, there are gonna be things where we would have a very different approach based on our experience. And in field training, I could be right because I had really good training, or I happened to get a really good experience, or even as a rookie officer, could get totally railed by, Keith saying, "You're an idiot. I don't know why you would ever do that. You got to be speed reloading your revolver or whatever." and it's fine, because I realize he's stressed out. I'm stressed out. We'll just call it a win that we both walked away from that. I won't take that personally. Versus him saying, "You're a piece of shit, and I don't know why you're a cop." It's very different, right? Like, it's I can parse out the difference between those two things, and I think like not taking yourself too seriously, and having good judgment. It can't be taught. That's the biggest problem. I think if recruiting could figure out how to find that in people, you would have way more successful people getting through your academy, because fitness can be made. You can put them on a fitness regimen and a diet regimen to get them fit enough for the job. You can PowerPoint them to death, or give them enough reps at writing reports to understand the law and CCP, and you can even practice people skills. There's speech classes that every college student has to take just to learn how to talk to people in public, but like judgment's hard. Like judgment, even in like, is this person lying to me? Like, well, what's the cost if they're lying versus what's the cost if they're not? And what am I picking up on? And when is it a time to go, MF somebody to get them to comply and not? Like, when is that going to be appropriate? It's a hard space to get. It's not fair, because I think a lot of people struggle in that if they're not new to it, and you just kind of have to survive, not like in the literal sense, but just in the, I guess, emotional sense, just survive the educational process for that. But yeah, judgment and mature. I make it more well-rounded in maturity, because you do get young people that just had good life experience, had good parents. But you get a lot of people that don't.
Yeah.
Again, old girl that's getting butthurt about somebody approaching her with a camera, that's a lack of emotional maturity. You're like, well, what does this person having a camera and confronting me have to do with my day? Well, who cares if they have a camera? Who cares if they're in the street? This should have zero bearing. How this person feels about me should have zero bearing on how I feel about myself. That's maturity. Anyways, we'll keep going. I got on a real soapbox there.
Good job,
If you have indication, this is a DV call.
Let's see how these toxic rookies do on judgment.
If there's clear evidence of it, then if you have to make that arrest, you make that arrest. I'm trusting you to your job. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. He's so used to being yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is probably remediation. Probably why it's so serious. Or at least it's scenario training.
It's scenario training.
Look at him keying up. Good scenario training. Oh, I love this. He's got a blue gun. He's definitely the captain. Also training. You have a detention. You have a detention. You have a detention. You gonna let him get to the car? You have a detention.
Can't even see what's in the bed of the truck.
Pause it real quick. This is definitely me. When I first got into scenario training. It's so funny. How quickly did I start saying you have it? It's just like, he punched me and gave you a black eye. I at least have reasonable suspicion. I at least have reasonable suspicion, right? So I can at least look and see because maybe his story is very different. Maybe the physical evidence is very different. But at the very minimum, I have reasonable suspicion that there is some sort of crime afoot. I can start detaining people and questioning people and whatever. I do think they kind of screwed him, though, because I would be very leery about going hands-on right now. Only because it's 2 versus 1. There is a car, and you have no idea how compliant this lady's going to be. I still team go hands-on, but I'm probably not trying to handcuff this guy by myself in a domestic. You shouldn't be answering the call in a domestic by yourself, but somebody should be handling the lady. And you might have to 1v1 this guy, but at least you have a backup in case that fight doesn't go your way. But being slow to figuring out that is very normal. I'm not going to tease this guy at all about it, but as a police officer, it's worked God knows how many of these. It is weird.
I only hit it one time.
We got verbal admittance!
There it is! That's all you need.
He's never had to do it before. He'd never.
Is he getting his notebook?
Waiting. Step forward, at least look in the bed.
You think there's a weapon in there?
And either put your goddamn tailgate or pick it.
This is kind of a nice truck, dude.
Look the coating.
You gonna leave him?
Oh!
That's what I said! This is what I said! I knew it! I called it! Oh, that was such a good scenario. That was such a good
Okay, I want to watch more of these. That was amazing.
So, for those of you that might have missed it, old girl smoked him.
He's super dead.
And this is the issue with scene security. We've talked about this before. Is that I have no idea, one, how mature or emotional, whatever these people are. If I have a helpless victim that just got assaulted, right? Her emotions are going to be all over the place. And let's say she sees this, and this is like the 18th time that police have shown up. And every single time we show up, maybe we take him to jail, maybe he doesn't. But either way, he comes back and hits her. And she's finally like, fuck it. Like, if you are not protecting her from herself, like, bruh. I do think he was a little set up for failure because he really shouldn't be. Now, deputies might be built different, or stadies might be built different, but like, as a municipal police officer, you would not be you wouldn't be doing this by yourself. However, the likelihood that that guy would have been combative the second you went hands-on, and both of you got soaked into that guy to go hands-on, and this scenario plays itself out the same way where nobody checked her for weapons and she just smokes them both, could totally play itself out.
Yep.
Great scenario for understanding, like, dude, you don't know. Until you do an investigation, you have no fucking clue what's going on. That was great. That was... Although most domestics aren't that easy. Like, you don't get a verbal admittance. You're like stuck in the doorway and they're like, hey, you ain't coming in here. I know my rights. You're like, well, your bruised girlfriend in the back there. Yeah.
Good scenario.
Keying up. Let's go. It may be reasonable. I think he's locked in.
How you doing, sir? What's man? What's going on? I'm Officer Humorous, talking PD. This your vehicle?
This guy tried to burgle my own car.
Good verbal.
I was walking home. Yeah. And then I didn't want to buy one, so I just saw this one sitting here. And it looks pretty cool. So I just checked it out. So this is your vehicle? Oh. Okay. What's your name, sir? Kyle. Kyle. All right. You know what? Why don't you get up in this vehicle here? Hey, whoa, okay. whoa. All right. One second. Hey, keep your hands here. All right. Keep your hands here. I didn't do anything. Just sweaters up. No, you're
Or
right.
looking into a car.
We're gonna make sure everything's good.
Let's get these handcuffs on a little faster, boy.
Okay. Just
Rate that cuff. Rate that cuff.
Smith. All right.
Like a negative 15 on Jeffrey.
All right. Why don't you come over here? Come over here.
Mostly because I don't know what his suspicion is. He looked inside the window.
So we ask him a couple questions.
He's by himself, so I guess if he felt like he had a detention, maybe this is smarter because he kept breathing. We're patting him down, you're not asking. Get that. Shout out to him. I love bro. This guy's getting after it. Look at that guy. Camera. There's one back here.
End scenario. End scenario.
And scenario.
Okay, Keith. I genuinely want your take on that.
I don't know. I've been to places where you see, and it's honestly like that. A guy sees a vehicle and he's checking out the inside. He has no intention of doing anything, but yes, best to possibly secure him and just make sure. Because if you go checking him inside that jacket pocket, maybe there's a Slim Jim, maybe there's screwdrivers, maybe there's so
100%. I have no beef with the frisk.
Yes, and so yeah.
For me, cuff and release was a use of force.
Yeah.
It would generate a use of force report. And if I was doing a use of force report and not having a criminal offense attached to it, that was a big red flag. Like my command staff would have had big beef with this.
Yeah, it's the cuff, not so much. I mean, I guess if he's by himself and there's nobody available, nobody's checked down and said, okay, I'll go drift over, kind of keep an eye on you. But if it's you, depending on time of night, area, all those things as to whether or not you cuff or don't cuff. I mean, and then the attitude, you can usually, if they seem like
pick up on it.
Yes, you can read them to where it's like, well, look, just put your hands on the truck for a second. Let me just check you for weapons. I just want to pat you down, a safety check for weapons.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything, and then just distance yourself and talk to him.
Dylan's got strong feelings about this. I will say this. If you had a bolo, right, and you said that there was multiple car break-ins in a specific area,
yes,
and you were canvassing that area for vehicle break-ins, and they happened to even just give you a description of like a middle-aged male, even if that's all you had, middle-aged male, we've had a lot of break-ins, we believe the suspect tends to be in this area at this time, and I have a guy looking in windows.
Yep.
All of that has to be articulated, and the terms, the totality of the circumstances. But that being said, the second this guy wasn't like 100% compliant, going hands-on and handcuffing, I'm okay with. But he's going to have to be able to articulate the rest of that.
Yeah. Well, we didn't, for the longest time, FIs came at about the middle of things for me. I was 10 years deep before they started saying, okay, do an FI for every contact you have. We didn't used to have to do that. And
dude,
it's like putting cuffs on somebody and just letting them know, I said, look, I'm just putting money here for a second, but I can take right back off here in 30 seconds, depends on how this goes. So yeah, they didn't make us do a use of force for something like that.
Oh, dog, what is he doing down there? Derby, Connecticut. What is going on here? I have my gun in my hand, but not pointing it.
Roger, comes back to a 2003 Crown Victoria color black to a Michelle Smith.
We're giving them returns. I love it. Getting their brains thinking. This brings me a lot of joy, I'm not gonna lie. This is where cops are born now. Bro, what are you doing?
Is that how he does a passenger side? He goes around the back of his vehicle?
Yeah. Just keep your eyes on the car. No leave. No!
Oh,
don't touch the don't touch the tail.
Leaving smeared fingerprints.
Yeah, thanks, I appreciate it. Hey, listen, the reason for my stop is you guys can see that stop sign back there, you went right through it. Okay?
Got a good stop.
We're rushing to work right now.
Okay.
We're late.
Where are you guys headed to?
Yeah.
Is that where you work at?
This also came back
Where do
to
you
a
guys live?
white vehicle, not a black vehicle.
No, it's a
Coming from Monroe to...
Oh, did it?
Stop
Okay, I
here.
heard white.
Yeah.
What's your
Okay,
screaming
not sure where you
going on
work?
in the background?
No, we work there.
Just scatterbrained right now. I didn't really.
Yeah, we're
That might be a
rushing.
bird.
Okay. You have your license, registration, insurance? Do me a favor, dude. Don't touch that gun in your waistband,
Yeah,
right?
I have a permit.
You got a permit for it?
Yeah.
Okay, where's that?
I
Just
don't.
tell me
I don't
where it's
have
at
to
before you reach for it.
I don't have to show you actually.
I'm sorry?
I don't have to show you my permit.
I don't know how I feel about this weird happy
license on
medium
you?
area.
No, I don't. I forgot it.
You either pointing or you're not.
Forgot it, huh?
She was driving, so
It's
I
already a
forgot
use of force.
Okay. Just do me a favor.
That's what I was about to say. The
Answer that.
second you,
Yeah,
the
sure
second you
Okay.
threat the gun part, it's a use of
We're
force.
really rushing to work though.
Would you do hand on your gun, or would you just...
You can hand on your gun all you want, because that's not a threat. Now, if I put my hand on my gun and say, "Hey, I'm gonna shoot you," that's different. It's aggravated assault, right? So if you're gonna commit to aggravated assault, you're gonna commit to aggravated. Like, because even just the posture of it, right? Even me pointing, because it's the I have reasonable. I guess you could do deadly conduct in Texas theoretically.
Yeah.
But it's a reasonable fear of serious bodily injury. A gun being present gives reasonable fear of serious bodily injury. Good on him for recognizing the gun being there. My only beef with this is there are cooler ways to recognize a gun and address it, right? The quick jerk motion of pulling out your gun and doing it. If you're gonna pull it out, point it. If you feel like you're justified in doing so. But like a quick jerky motion by you is gonna do what for your individual, right? A quick jerky motion for them. Typically, and I can't for the life of me remember what the 10 code was because I didn't use 10 codes for guns. I would just say gun.
1032.
It's 1032. Let's say it's 1032. Keith could very easily, let's say we're both looking at this car. If he was my backup officer, he'd be like 1032 on the passenger. I'd be like, oh, okay. No jerky motion, no nothing. He's just going to be like, I'm aware and you're aware. He might have his hand on his gun, but I'm going to try to be cool and verbally address this thing, knowing that I have Keith as a safety blanket, that if this goes to the OK Corral shooting, at least Keith's taking out this guy and maybe my vest saves me, right? But it is different when you're approaching by yourself because you're your own scene security. But address it or don't address it. Like don't ever be in a middle ground because one, legally it shows that you're not sure, and two, it's like not effective, right? Like if I want deadly force, point the gun, get in a better shooting stance, have maybe both hands on it, or like I've done it before, and I'm sorry for whomever I had to do this to. I've gone as far as putting the gun straight on somebody's temple. I knew I was like, I will not miss. And we were grappled and trying to get a gun out of somebody's waistband. But I sat there and I made this very simple. I was like, this is an impossible shot for me to miss. I had a very terrible backstop. We're in the middle of a apartment building, right? And I'll make this a very simple equation for you.
Yeah.
That I'm threatening deadly force. Threaten all the way. Don't leave it up to posture or whatever. I had to use my other hand, so it's gonna have to be a one-handed shot if I had to take it.
Yeah.
And there's two encumbered police officers grappling with one person. Like that middle ground, if I just had it out of my holster and I just kind of had it hanging out, what if the guy blocks the gun? What if the guy does whatever? Like there's a couple of different issues I have with that. But it comes from a lack of certainty on his part. And the problem is that in the court of law, that's where that reasonable doubt will creep in is, did you think you had the authority? Did you have, well, why? And that posture will bring up that question as to why. That's my only beef.
Does he have to show you his license to carry?
Depends on when this was recorded. A lot of times, like in Texas, back when CCWs were a thing, I believe it was the law that you had
years ago.
Yeah, there's probably still pre-constitutional carry for Texas. So in Texas, you would have had to. But it still doesn't change. Again, the presence of a gun doesn't automatically present a deadly threat. There's a totality aspect. I have brought the presence of a gun, right? Like, just because it's there, it can't automatically jump the ladder. Is it going to make me get to the top of the ladder a lot faster? Sure. No issue with you putting your hand on your gun if it's holstered, right? I have no issue with you addressing it directly and say, hey, instead of just putting your hands on the dash, how about you put your hands on your head? Something that simple makes it hard. That gesture, it's going to be like, I'm going to win that gunfight, right? And then also you got to think about it. If I think I'm going to get into a deadly force encounter with this guy, I don't want the driver to be my backstop. So you're either going to commit to being behind this B pillar, or you're going to actually pivot and go to the front windshield so you get to shoot down into the back seat. So I either want to shoot through the seat at him and end up aiming for the dash, or the other way around. You have to think about these things. This is a lot to take in. In this instance, this is where this kind of scenario training is great. We could have this lecture with this poor recruit right now, right? Yeah. After the fact, but I like that it's happening in a much more organic space. These are all things that are going to need to be considered. It's complicated. It's not easy.
054-662-195, 054-662-195.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're really late.
You're really late, huh?
Yeah,
you guys seem kind of nervous. Any reason why you're so nervous?
No, we're just.
I mean,
just pull the gun out.
Where it is.
That's great.
That seems a lot to me.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I'd be such a shitbag as a.
Which one do you work at?
Fucking.
It's Sonia.
Okay. What's your name, bud?
My name?
Yeah.
Mike.
Mike?
Yep.
What's your last name, Mike?
I don't have to tell you.
So, also, why is he talking to this guy instead of her if she's the driver who ran the stop sign?
So he has her identified, right? And he's either waiting on a return or deciding. So she's ran a traffic stop sign, right? So he's gonna decide whether or not he's gonna take enforcement action on the stop sign running. And part of that's everybody that you're gonna go into an interaction with, you're gonna go ahead and run them and do whatever. Technically, in his mind, I'm assuming, I don't know because I can't read his mind, he's already like, well, I don't give a shit about this stop sign thing, and potentially have an armed individual that's now armed and in a public place. And technically, you could be transporting the gun, so depending on the state, it wouldn't matter. However, I do think that maybe on his investigation, he's making sure that this is not a prohibited person.
Right.
The stop sign's a misdemeanor. Moving violation, the ticket at best. A prohibited person in possession of a firearm is a felony. So I'm more concerned about getting through that part of the investigation. I think potentially asking her to take the keys out of the ignition would be a good call. And I've just put the keys on the roof, basically. Keeping them in the car is, I think, the best bet at this point because you're by yourself. I'm surprised he hasn't asked for a second. Again, he's already done the use of force. He's already pulled the gun out. Like, let's have the conversation, right? But I think that he can articulate that he maybe has reason to ensure that this person's not a prohibited person. Technically, if they're concealed carrying, he would have never known. So if he's open carrying, or it's like very visibly obvious that he is carrying, I see that there's a gun present. At the very minimum, I can ask. I do like also that he hasn't asked him to remove it, or he hasn't tried to disarm the person. I just wouldn't fuck with it. Unless if I had 3 officers present, sure, that'd be a little different. But with just myself, I'm probably not trying to do all that.
So, for you guys that are in the academy or going into your academies or anything like that, this is the time to make your mistakes. This is the time to make your mistakes and have them corrected for you.
Yeah.
So, Josh said, either you go full on and draw down on this guy and have them go, no, you did that wrong. While you've got people there, you're not going to get killed over this. Learn as much as you can in your academies, your mandatory trainings every year. Any kind of refreshers that you do it all in that safe environment. So and lock it in and make sure that you take that with you and it stays with you when you're out there on the street.
Yeah, I think it's you also give opportunities because you're typically not taking this training by yourself. You give great discussions if you make bold decisions, right? You give good discussions for everyone to learn from that, right? But be certain in your decision making, because in policing, certainty is your friend, both because it's safer. Let's say this guy is a dirtbag and he's going to try to kill you. Let's win that gunfight. Or if he's not and he's just being weird, let's know what my legal authority is so that I can go ahead and express it and articulate it and be done with it.
Yeah.
You do have to tell me.
I do not have to tell you, sir.
I'm investigating a stop right now, and you're involved in my stop.
I don't have to tell you. It's part of my rights.
Okay.
It's personal information.
Why don't you do me a favor, step out of the vehicle for me?
Yeah.
All right. Don't put your hand near that firearm, okay?
For sure get smoked. For sure get smoked.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna grab that for you real quick.
That's my gun.
Put your hand in the car real quick.
I don't even have to be here.
Gun to the face.
I don't have to be
Gun to
here.
the face.
I'm not a part of this. You pulled
Gun to the face. The second he resisted that search,
You don't need to do this.
she could also be armed.
I don't have to be here, sir. I don't have to be here, sir. I'm not a part of this. You pulled her over. You pulled her over. I'm not a part of this at all.
Stay in the car. I'm filming this.
You're violating my rights, sir.
I like that she's filming. This is great suspect in here.
I don't have to be here. This is not. I don't have to be
This is
here.
my safety and yours.
I don't have to be here, sir. There's no reason for me to be here.
What are you keying up for? Just hit the red button.
You know what? I'm out of here, sir. I'm out.
Bro, so much resisting.
Violating my rights.
You shouldn't be doing this on pavement. Oh, he got smoked. He got smoked. If you go back to that last frame.
Sweep the leg. I'm leaving. You're violating my rights. You're violating my rights.
Let me see.
Watch
Frame by frame here. Oh, no, that just ended. That was it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He gets smoked. For sure.
Yeah, didn't mean to click this.
What's up, everybody?
Good scenario.
There we go, first line down.
Very, very, very good scenario. I thought that was very, because he had to understand his authority. He had to understand, what he could and couldn't do. I think he chose to press the matter as opposed to just be done with it. But at the very minimum, running him. And he could have also verbally probably approached it very differently. Hey, I'm going to make sure you're not a prohibited person. Verbally let him know why you're trying to talk to him or whatever. But
yeah,
scenario probably still plays out that way. Should be sweeping the leg, as Keith suggested at that point, just because he's now resisting a safety search and he's armed. I also would have no beef at that point of you actually just drawing down on the guy. It's like, it's a 2-on-1 fight now. Then one of them's confirmed armed.
Yeah.
But probably shouldn't be trying to get him out of the car by yourself. You're setting yourself up for not success there. But it is what it's game over. For Chris.
GG's.
They can't climb back over the track.
Right, it's just too high.
So what if you
Like in 450p.
So he had a solution, and that is tiny turtle bridges.
144
Driver, put your hands out the window.
4
And
times.
so you went on video, you videotaped
What am I hearing?
turtle bridges and the turtles?
Drop the
cup.
Pause it.
And that
He's
is
listening to like a talk radio.
Oh, it's supposed to be
It's like
talk
his car radio,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, I was like, what? I thought there was something else playing.
No.
So he had a solution, and that is tiny turtle bridges.
Turtle bridges.
Driver, put your
hands out the window. I can see so you went on video, you videotaped his turtle bridges and the turtles?
Drop the cup. We got a grand tour of the turtle bridges.
With your left hand.
Then
Open the door. Step out. And he's cute.
They're very cute.
Stay facing away from us and step back until I tell you to stop.
That's pretty old. I'm not doing this one.
Step to your right. Over the track and then to safety. Jam behind your head.
how much lethal force do we need?
Where's the little girl? Where's the little girl? Where is she? The little girl.
Where's the little girl? You know what we're talking about. Where's the little girl?
I don't know.
Where's the little girl? Hurry up.
Yeah.
Show us the little girl.
I don't know any little girl.
Whoa! Where's the little girl?
What are you doing?
Where's the little girl?
I don't know.
They weren't ready to.
Where is she? You're going away for a long time. I don't know.
There's the little girl.
That's how messed up. LAPD. That was a normal day in the life, probably.
Yep. Yes, you can see it on our website in action. Turtles escaping their death.
You're welcome, Blank. That was for you.
At the very minimum, I don't know. Probably a lawsuit. Like probably win that one.
Mm-hmm.
Also, randomly discharging your gun.
You were just gonna say throwing shots while you're running down the street. Yeah,
Probably not a good call.
that's pretty awesome.
They're gonna be like, so what happened was my gun fell out of the holster somehow into my hand and then hit the roof of my car, causing the negligent discharge.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like that guy trying to showcase how he got trapped in his own back seat. What is this?
5
This
most
looks
important
cringy.
questions.
Which one was it? Wait, where was I? Oh, this is the Cop Humor channel.
Oh, okay.
But I was just on.
Hey, that police officer is breaking the law.
We'll do a couple
It's
more,
illegal to
then we'll
accept
get out of
bribes
here.
from criminals all of a sudden?
If you see the police acting unlawfully, here are 3 things you should know.
Stop, evildoer, I'm performing. Citizens arrest! All right. Stop resisting.
Number 1, don't try to arrest a cop. If you see something shady, call 911 and report whatever it is you're witnessing.
Hello, 911, I'd like to report a traitor.
Is there a problem here?
Yes, I saw you commit a crime and I'm telling your boss.
Yes.
Yeah, he's right in front of me, dark hair, very handsome.
Listen, buddy, it's your word
Very
against mine.
handsome.
Who do you think they'll believe? Number 2, record any evidence of police misconduct so it can be used later in court.
And I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for your meddling Argyle sweater and iPhone 6.
How does it feel to be in the back of a cop car this time, dingus?
Okay, well, I'm not worried. You know how much paperwork they'll have to go through to get to me?
What?
This will be unresolved for months, maybe years.
Number 3, if your complaint goes unresolved, you still have one more trick up your sleeve. Make a call to your local district attorney and make sure they're aware of the complaint.
That's the smartest way to go about doing it. Thank you.
Are you getting cookies?
No, I'm getting this
sandwich,
eggs and bacon and
Oh,
potatoes.
Getting breakfast.
And Zivia for my caffeine at 9 o'clock at night.
Nice.
Don't try a citizen's arrest at police officer. That'll go pretty bad.
Yeah.
This is why you never pull over a lawyer.
Do you know how fast you were going?
I believe I was going the speed limit.
Where are you coming from?
I don't have to answer that.
I think I'll take a look in the trunk.
Really? You don't have a warrant or probable cause or anything that would allow you to go in there?
Yeah, well,
Sir, you're not wearing a seatbelt. That's a violation. This is why you never pull over a lawyer.
Do you know how fast?
So you have now
when they
impersonating a police officer as your offense.
Agreed.
Sir, you're not wearing a seatbelt.
If you have a misdemeanor in your presence and you have documented that properly, there's nothing to worry about. The lawyer, whatever. Now, apparently, the DA's office, you do have to worry.
They
can just issue an apology or whatever.
They call your chief. You have to go. Oh yeah, I wanted to show this. Prosper Police getting this monster.
Prosper. What's the population of Prosper?
37,000.
God, dude. It's like a high school here in Texas.
That's where Dak Prescott lives, I think. Right? Where like half the Cowboys live. I think Mark Cuban's up there.
They're getting that property tax money. That's probably like easily a $300,000 to $400,000 vehicle to purchase. You know how much an oil change for that cost?
Oh yeah.
Or fuel, or like filters and all that, because that's probably like CS gas proof. And so all of those seals require filters, both for the engine and it's all expensive. Like all of that, it probably cost them like $40,000 a year just to operate, if they operate. And then they got to train with it. Then you have to get somebody like Class A license, because that thing's probably easily over 10,000 pounds or whatever. What's a Class A require, Keith? The 10,000 pounds? Keith doesn't know. Shame on you.
Right now, he's Googling it.
He was Motors too, or CVT.
Yeah, well, he does it. He does truck stuff now too. Well,
either way,
he's probably just not at his computer right now. Probably. Running off on us. Let's see. 5 most important questions you should ask.
Number 1, what's your name and badge number, officer? Who's asking? If you think there's something fishy going on, it's a good idea to make sure you're actually talking to a real cop.
Yeah, I seem fishy, I get it. My name's Officer Doyle, badge number 031. I'm undercover. You can call the station to confirm.
Number 2, am I being detained? If you are being detained, cops will usually do things like conduct a search or make you wait until they decide what to do with you. If you aren't being detained, ask question number 3. Am I free to go?
I'm free to leave.
You can leave if they give confirmation. If you are being detained, ask number 4. Why am I being detained?
Sorry, guys.
They need a legitimate reason to detain you, so if something sounds wrong, you might be able to use it to fight it in court. Finally, if the cops start asking questions and you feel like you might say something wrong, ask question number 5. Can I speak with a lawyer? And then say, I invoke the 5th. 5 most important questions.
That is the one. That's 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. Best amendment.
That is a correct assessment of what to do. If they're issuing a citation or taking some sort of enforcement action, their name and badge number will be included in the report. So getting it right then and there is not necessarily like a win or not a win. But I think having that documentation would be important.
Keith, we were just looking at this. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, Nathan said 26,000 pounds.
26,000 pounds. Okay, I don't know how much
for the
this
Class A. For Class
A. Police. Yeah, for the Class A.
Actually, that's probably that's a Class B right there.
This one?
Yeah.
What's the weight for that?
Probably 18,000 pounds.
Or is it like a size thing too?
No, I mean, as far as like CDLs, because when I was county, I had to transport prisoners, so I had a Class B CDL because I had to drive a bus. Help move guys between the jail complexes, but that there, I don't think that's CDL weight. I mean, it depends on the axles. I only see 4 tires instead of 6. So yeah, that's probably not going to be CDL. No, It's not the axle configuration's wrong.
Tell you what, though, that's a big girl. That was a big old vehicle.
Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
I bet it drives like shit, though. It's the only downside. But it feels like driving a tank.
Can't park it anywhere. Look at him. All right, we'll end with this one. We'll end with a fun one. And
Okay.
then we'll go to the after party.
Is this like Explorers?
This is Academy Recruits.
Oh, okay. It's kind of weird that it says police and they're not issued real guns. That's kind of weird.
Should say cadet.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
If you don't laugh, your personality is not a fit for this police department. I'm sorry.
Drop.
Get smoked for smiling? Oh, that sucks.
Oh, she's screwed. She started smiling.
Don't fully understand the goal here.
Hazing?
Hazing, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Ah, that was
Pretty
weak
good.
sauce. Prepping for auditors. Yeah, there you go. Oh,
Drop.
you lost.
That was a
so
smirk.
quick.
Half the punishment's like 15 or 20. That's not bad.
Yeah.
So some are wearing caps, some are wearing glasses. Either, I don't know.
Oh, he lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever's carrying the camera needs to drop and give me 10. He's wearing Oakley's. He's ride or die.
Can't even see the chicken.
Stone Cold, let's go.
Game fish. She's good.
Oh, he's gonna lose it. Knew it. Knew it. Didn't even have to honk it.
One
Tried
smelled
to.
the weakness.
Bro, yeah.
I don't remember who already got.
Right.
Not the redhead. Come on now.
Bro, come on, camera guy. He's gone. I knew it.
This is weird. It's like pseudo police uniform.
It's like it's an Indiana University Police Academy, so I wonder if they're like a
unless it's like a lateral,
yeah,
like academy where they're all already like sworn, or like previously sworn. I guess you're still, but the second you lose your commission, you're not a cop anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm wondering because so aren't there some colleges that'll provide you like academy within there as part of your degree?
Yes. Yeah, in Texas there
We're
is.
still a recruit.
You can get your peace officer through, like your degree, but like for me, I went to my academy was at a college. It was during the summer, so over the summer, when all the regular classes and most everybody else was gone, we had our academy there.
That's weird.
Yeah. So apparently they use it to test their demeanor, and they have to do a plank. They have to hold a plank if they fail. It's to see if they can remain focused. Which,
That's dumb.
I don't know what that is for. Okay.
That's dumb. It is funny, but it is dumb.
Yeah.
I'm more annoyed that it says police when they're cadets.
This seems like just their excuse so they can get away with just hazing. Just
Which is
some
fine.
Lighthearted, just some lighthearted hazing.
No,
it might be
no
know,
beef with hazing.
I feel like it's also like a fun game that you can do like at the end of the day or something like that, where it's just kind of like a team exercise, but it's also a little bit funny and fun. You know.
So we would we got out of getting smoked after class. They would randomly do like challenges.
Mm-hmm.
They would take like the worst shooter and they'd be like, all right, do better than this score. And everyone would be like, oh. Like, they'd start stretching and hydrating, like, we're going to work out. Or they'd like ask them, they did it with command Spanish one time. Or they would again ask the poorest student, and it would be like, hey, like, what's this command, or translate this, or whatever. Of course, depending on how motivated we felt. Every once in a while, once in a blue moon, somebody would crush and rise above the challenge, and it was good. But oftentimes it was not the case. Shout out to everybody that was here. Do what?
I was telling Blake I'll be in the after party.
Oh, my dog. Yeah, I'm going to hang out with a little bit for you guys. I do have to wake up at the crack early of dawn, but I will hang out in the after party for a little bit. If you guys would like to know what the after party is, you can either join our Patreon group or our YouTube membership, membership program.
Yes.
And that will give you direct access to our Discord, and our Discord is where we hang out all the time. They have movie night, which I typically troll periodically. I'm on the second attempt. The wife and I died on our honor run already, so we're having to redo it again.
That's what you get for starting without me.
And then
Boo.
Don't give away our login credentials. Chill, dog.
I thought I had to reset my Chrome today, and now I'm not logged into anything.
There's the one guy that punched the Roo. Did you see that?
Punched the Roo?
I always forget he's Australian, and then he'll say some shit like that.
You got a video?
Maybe he's got a video while I do the outtake here. Sam, everyone's cool enough as long as you're willing to spend $1 a month on either one of those services. It will get you direct access. There's a little different. We do have merch available, so you can go to OnlyCops.tv, and there is a merch store that's there. It's pretty cool. Got a bunch of stuff. Most of the stuff, depending on the tier on either Patreon, I think it's just Patreon, has a certain tier that'll get you some of this stuff. I don't think the YouTube memberships have that integration, but you can always just go and get it yourself if you want to rep cool stuff. So Producer Juan made a bunch of cool stuff here for this. And then if you just like to be more involved in how we decide what content we want to do or do game nights, we do a bunch of stuff in the after party. We give semi-legal advice. We do meetups, all that cool stuff. Go hang out with us there, and you can tease me incessantly all day whenever you want. So anyways, thank you to all of the 12.6 thousand. We're about to hit 12.7 thousand subscribers. We continue to grow. We will continue to give you guys both live and pre-recorded content as long as... Oh, we just hit 12.7. Look at that. My thing hasn't updated yet.
Old.
Anyways, I will watch the Guy Punches Roo video in the after party. I love the rest of you guys. I will see the rest of y'all on Thursday, where we will be doing our regularly scheduled body cam breakdown. Are we doing Guy Punches Roo to save
I
dog?
want to see it. Might as well. It sounds
Whatever,
short.
we're here.
We're all looking forward to seeing Max on a board. When, to our horror, it turns out to be something else altogether.
Oh, God! Yeah! That's exactly how I imagined Dan talks.
Hey, go, just there. Whoa, go.
Next!
Hey.
But all is not as it seems. The big buck actually has hold of the dog, not the other way around. As Greg runs in, we realise this could get dangerous.
I'm glad he's got a collar to protect himself.
Let it go, Tom. Let's go.
Bro, that guy's brave. Square up with a Roo?
Well, we're not sure what's going on here, but the Roo has the dog, not the other way around. Max calmly waits for his owner to come and help. The buckaroo sees the odds stacking against him and tries to gut the dog with his claws one last time. His powerful arms anchor the dog by the breastplate as Max doubles his efforts to escape. Finally, the Roo switches his attention to Tonks and sizes up the human to be his next victim. Tonks gives the kangaroo his space, but the cranky buck comes forward, ready to attack. To save himself, he launches a right hand to the kangaroo's snout. The punch swivels the Roo's head as he throws his claws out to grapple and gouge. Then they eye each other off. Tonks makes the right decision again and backs off, leaving the buck stunned as to what has just taken place. He continues to stand his ground, like he has done many times before when fighting for breeding rights against other big boomers like himself. He eyes off Tonks again, possibly contemplating some revenge for the clip on the snoz. Luckily for everyone involved though, he decides enough is enough and goes about his day.
All right.
Dude.
Awesome.
I give him a 10 out of 10 because he just gave him like a nose boop, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then left him alone. No animals were injured. That's a win.
Yeah, just there he goes.
Got a. Anyways, I love you guys. We'll see the rest of you guys in the after party.
My name is Constable Tall.
All right, no, I don't care. Go away. There we go. All right, I'm ending
I
stream.
might watch some of these.
Bye, all. We'll watch these later. We'll make
See
a
you,
whole
babe.
Canada stream. Just judge the Mounties. There we go. All right, we're